Hello, everyone, and welcome to Out of Control, a Code Warriors one-shot adventure. And we will be going into the rules of how Code Warrior works, but of course this episode is sponsored by Code Warriors. I'm going to put a little link in chat for you all. If you want to click that link, it takes you to the Kickstarter. Craig has been working very hard on it. You've already hit some goals, which is pretty exciting. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about your Kickstarter first.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Campbell. I've been here before. I'm back.
We always enjoy having you.
Thank you. I'm the owner of Nerdburger Games and kickstarting Code Warriors, which has been in development for, 3.5 years, because I went down one road and said, nope, that's not working right, and then basically rewrote it a year and a half later.
We'll have to ask you about that in the after show. That sounds interesting.
So yeah, in the game, you portray characters living. Your characters are programs living inside of a computer world, much like Tron, but not looking anything like Tron because I don't want to get sued by Disney. So there's different artwork and all that stuff for that. But your computer world has, like computers are wont to do sometimes, it's crashing. There's something happening called the collapse with a capital C, though, and it's causing mass chaos and havoc throughout the system. Where that will end up, if this were a longer campaign, we'd probably delve into that, but this is going to be a one-shot. We're going to deal with some very specific problems happening in the collapse and see how our programs deal with that. The game uses a dice pool system called the Roll Track system. If you're familiar with Good Strong Hands, that's where the system started. That system is an ENnie nominated system for best rules, so take that.
Nice.
And
Claps, round of applause. And we do have some, campaigns of that game as well. So if you want to check out Good Strong Hands, you can search for it on our channel.
Whole bunch of Good Strong Hands. We did like a 4-parter.
Yeah.
In addition to the one that was during the campaign. So that's the basics of it. You can go to the page, you can learn a lot more about it there. You can watch this show right now and learn a whole bunch about the game here. Although me droning on about the game and the intricacies of how it functions is going to be overtaken by these 4 wonderful personalities and the programs that they are bringing to save their system. So there we go.
Yeah, thank you very much for the intro. And there's lots of goodies over on the Kickstarter, like dice and all kinds of things. So if you are interested in supporting this game, definitely go do so. And you can get some stuff in return, which is pretty exciting. And of course, we're going to go around and let you, we're going to introduce all the folks here so that you can get to know them and their characters. Would you like to do intros for characters, or would you want to do those as they show up in the scenes?
Since you'll all be kind of rolling into the story together, go ahead and let's hear about your character as well too. Like just some bits and pieces, a little bit of your code, as it were.
Okay.
And we'll learn more about your code as we meet the characters and see what happens.
So let's do that. We'll start off with Katie, who I cannot get over how amazing that filter looks. Play Katie Play, can you please introduce yourself, what you do on the internets, and of course a little intro of your character that you're playing today?
Yeah, I'm Katie Peters Plays. It's so weird because I look at the screen and you don't see my face. You see a giant eyeball. But yeah, I'm Katie Peters Plays. You've seen me here maybe even yesterday on Grimrose Academy, but I do a lot of tabletop. I do a lot of Twitch stuff. We're doing Spooktober right now, lots of scary games. But today I'm very excited because I am playing a character named Firewall, who you might notice has one giant eyeball. I am part of the program type REC, R-E-C, and I don't know how much I should dive into it, Craig. I don't know how much I should give away. But I have my body is silver and has 2 appendages, 2 arms and 2 legs, but very robotic, very steel. 1 giant eyeball, and I can record things. I'm a little glitchy sometimes. And how much should I go into this, Craig?
That's pretty good.
How much mystery?
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Got a good idea of your character. And of course, we have our lovely trooper playing Fortran, Academic Foxhole. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do on the internets, and of course, tell us a little bit about your character today.
Hey everyone, it is lovely to be back here on the roll for it. I believe one of those Good Strong Hand games I might have been in. You'd have to go and I'm not going to confirm or deny those rumors, but if you search for it on the roll for it, YouTube or their VODs, you might be able to confirm or deny that, which I will not do. And you can find me on my Twitch channel, TrooperSJP, running RPGs every Friday, and also just, generally speaking around the internet. Today, I am playing a character named Fortran. Fortran is, what's the best way to put it? Like a security robot? Probably is the best way probably would talk about. I'm pretty massive, you know what I mean? Big, heavy. I got a taxi. If you want to get in, I got one. We can ride around in if you want. So here's the thing, in case you don't know. Fortran, one of the first computer languages. I'm old. You know those programs you got in your computer you just haven't used? So like in 20 years, and every time you read a boot up new computer, just drag all the things over. I'm one of them really old programs that, I was like, I woke up from sleep and I was like, what's going on? Everything's falling apart. But I was security back in 1950, but I'm still security now. You need to get somewhere from here to there, I can drive you. I don't know the new routes, but, I know the old ones.
All right, thank you for that lovely intro. And we have little Red Dot returning with us playing Help or H3LP. Can you introduce yourself?
Friends.
And Dot does a lot of stuff. Tell us all the things you do. I don't know if we have enough time for it all. And of course, a little bit about your character.
Yeah, hey friends, I'm Dot. You can find me where little red dots are found. Mostly right now, I spend all my time over at Kobold Press and with my podcast. But yeah, go just search me up and you can find all of that. I might tell you more later, but right now, I'm very excited to be here today playing H3LP, our customer service help system, who is definitely here to help you with all of your needs, including the system that is crashing around us. Some might say I'm in a bit of crisis mode. Help is in a bit of crisis mode because there is a lot of help needed. And yeah, that's help.
All right. And of course, I'm Margaret Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone on all the places. I do lots of things on the internet, a lot of tabletop stuff. And I make games and video games for a living. I'm currently working on a project called Ashes of Creation, and you can find it at Ashes of Creation in all of the places. And today I am playing the Silver Screen, who is an AV type program, very charismatic, creative, curious. They kind of have like a sparkling silver screen TV head for a head and little mecha legs for their legs. They are probably not as helpful as all of these other programs. They are very much an entertainment program, which I don't know if that's going to help us, but we'll see.
I would say that's very helpful. I would
think?
say that could be very helpful.
Yeah, maybe I'll distract you all from the horrifying stuff we're seeing as programs are being deleted.
I'm inspired by you already.
And with that, I will hand it over to Nerdburger Craig, who will take us on this adventure. If you want to introduce yourself and then take it away.
Hi, yeah. Kind of covered who I am, Nerdburger Games. I'm Craig, and I think we can just dive right in. There will be an after show where, I can yap about more stuff. Let's get rolling. Boot up. For as long as you can remember, the system hummed along peacefully. Every program had a job, and those jobs kept everything working properly. Then the collapse began. No one knows how it started. There is no end in sight. Buildings crumbled, devices stopped working, towns went dark, aberrants flooded the system, and programs died. With no backups functioning properly, they are just gone, deleted forever. 4 of you threw in together when things got really bad. You've been roaming the system now for days, weeks, it's hard to tell, helping where you can. Recently, you made your way to Control, the capital C, the seat of the system operations and maintenance, which appears to finally be back online. Control is a massive labyrinthine tower of pods, chambers, and the passages that connect them. It was small when the system was young. Fortran, you remember that. Over time, it has grown, spreading like a spider web of modules into the sky. As we begin, you have entered the lowest level of control, where you are greeted by a battle-scarred Sav bearing a glowing maul. He introduces himself. Greetings, programs. Welcome to Control. I am Steadfast. Before proceeding further, you will submit to a code scan. And he motions to a fellow Rec, Firewall, who is holding a device and clearly, obviously recording all of you. The little red dot is glowing on their head.
Okay, scan away.
It sounds most helpful. I agree.
That's one of them. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm also a Sav. You're sort of newfangled. How does that work? How much energy do you take? How much space? Yeah, go ahead, scan me. It's fine.
Will it hurt?
All right. It shouldn't. Depends
Okay.
what you're carrying.
Oh no.
Savs are notoriously succinct and a little mildly threatening in their day-to-day, oftentimes, especially the newer ones, because their job is security. They are no nonsense. They are there to keep all of you safe. So their protocols for interaction are not great. Their protocols for destroying aberrants and dealing with corrupt code are. The Rec introduces themselves, says, "Hello, I'm Switch. Hold still, please." And holds up a scanning device, which they across each of you. And let's go really quickly. And each of you has a glitch, because we made arrangements for that before the game began. So tell us one part of your glitch. Begin with the most visually or auditorially apparent part, if there is such a thing. I know for at least one of you, there's a very obvious visual component. Let's start with Margaret.
Sure. You can kind of see that the silver screen has a little bit of like some kind of liquid dripping out of part of one of its legs where it connects to the head of this TV. And that dripping is making it kind of walk a little slower, and they look a little exhausted. So yeah, that's kind of what's
Worn
happening.
down.
Yeah.
You see attempting to be hidden between what most would consider like four limbs. So a bipedal kind of program meant to probably keep both the user comfortable as well as the program comfortable, as this kind of helping program between the two. Puts out a limb that would look to most people to be like this one, except it looks as if it has been destroyed and shredded via like a micro decay in some way, and it glows slightly around the edges. And Help attempts to wear a glove that would cover it, but it doesn't cover everything, and you can see it affects the entire appendage.
Katie?
When you look at Firewall, just like how robots are constructed, there's like pieces of metal put together, and you can see in between each of those little sections that are or put together, there is light glowing. And it's a soft glow, and sometimes it glows a little brighter than other times, but there's this blue light that is kind of peeking out all over Firewall's body in a very noticeable way, and something where you're like, that doesn't seem quite right. So it's definitely not something that's supposed to be built into my program.
Super.
Suppose you're going to ask about me. Nothing's wrong with me. You can look at me and you can tell nothing's wrong. That said, I mean, we're just going to start with that, right? But that said, I don't know. I was just looking at I don't know if you know this. I have found one of my drives. It was amazing. It had a whole 128 kilobytes worth of data on it, which is pretty impressive. That's a lot of data. I mean, like, who can even imagine storage, right? So, all computer programs, they run off of juice, right? You said juice, it's like the energy that you send through things, yeah? And if you took a program from my day, it would be like this much. Everybody's programs nowadays are that much, you know what I mean? Which means that's super bloated. kind of also means they can store more juice and use more juice more efficiently. And I'm not saying I'm not efficient. I'm saying I'm sleek. That sort of means whenever I try to spend juice, it's just I'm a little slow. Not slow like exhausted slow like some people who are very nice, but more like I got like only like a kilobyte worth of stuff going on. You know what I mean? And so it's a very you might hear me chugging along a little bit as I've got to spend a little bit extra stuff to. With 3D, who said? I mean, why is everything more than one color? Green, I thought was fine. Punch codes, you remember them? Yeah.
Switch seems satisfied that none of you are carrying anything corrupted, contagious, anything that's going to get passed along or downloaded accidentally. And the little scanning device shows up yellow with a little indicator light, but not red, which is good. It's not green, which would be better, but it's yellow. And you are all waved into control. Steadfast takes up position again by the door, the entry, and Switch looks to the group of you and says, what are your functions here in control?
I am the user interface for customer service of this entire system. It is my job to help.
You can use that. Things are not good here.
I can grow big and small.
That's Andy.
Oh, and I can repeat sounds. I can make footsteps, thuds, all kinds of things like that.
Can you record?
Oh, no. I do not record.
I am able to record lots of things. I also guard many things. I look for ways to find information if I need.
When you say recording, what do you mean? Like, where would you record that onto? Like, how do you record things? I mean,
With my eye, I will record things and I can play them back to you. I am recording you right now.
where do you store the data?
Inside of my data chip.
Ah. Wow, newfangled. I am reliable. That's what I'm good at. I don't have a lot of moving parts. Got a punch code, all that stuff. So, when all that stuff goes down and you're like, oh no, I don't have a user interface, hang out in the terminal with me. I'm very reliable. Also, I've been around here for a long time. I'm really good at, I was not like you, but, I was a bit of a security program way back when. I could go and make sure that our little circuits were working properly. And I'm really good at figuring out if there's corruption. Because, I'm kind of just one or two OS systems out of date. So when things are weird, I know it right away. And I'm pretty good at getting out there and, getting rid of viruses and scanning systems, driving you around town. And, I got to tell you, if you want to know what it was like, I knew Alan Turing, well, not personally, because, there, but, I can tell you all sorts of things. You need some kind of help with something, you want to learn something about it, what it was like in 1952, I could tell you and it'd help you out.
When was
Switch
your
interrupt.
last update?
Update? What do you mean?
We all have updates. When was your last update?
I've never been updated.
Switch interrupts and says, so you can kill aberrants then. Very good.
Yeah?
You have access to control now. If you want to take a look around, help where you can. The areas that are off limits will be impossible for you to enter without clearance or without being invited inside by the programs operating there. Those areas will be apparent because you will not be able to open the door. Control was down and non-functional for a good long time after the collapse began. We're not sure entirely why. In fact, many of the modules here were in stasis. For many of us here, only a few days have passed. My understanding is that in the system, it has been weeks. We have no record of any of the things that happened anywhere in the system. We are mostly cut off from the system. Right now, we have sporadic contact within the system and within the modules of control at times, but those continue to cut in and out. So we are in the process of trying to reestablish that. If you have any thoughts, if you have any ability to seek out the problems that are keeping the modules of control from reconnecting with one another, you may pursue those. And they look to help to H3LP. You're an op. Ops are operating systems programs. They're like the background features, all the things that keep a computer running underneath. They're the guts. Control is operated by many ops. There are, like over the ages in the system, most of the population of control at any given time are ops. They are programs who are keeping the system running and monitoring everything and maintaining everything from here. But obviously, they've had problems with that as of late. So you will have, if not special privileges, at least will be inherently looked to or more trusted more easily amongst the other ops here, because you're all like previous to the collapse, you were all ops are able to tap into, like, log into the system, like connect to the system inherently, which also means that you can all communicate with each other over great distances, but that has been sporadic at best during the collapse.
What then is our main goal? To reestablish the system? Or to clean it of its problem?
Ultimate goal is, right now, the short-term goal is to get control under control, to reestablish our capabilities here so that we can investigate the entire problem in the system. Right now, we have a difficult time even being sure what's happening because we don't have a direct connection to the system. We need to get control
A secure link to control
secured and cleaned of any corruption, any code problems, any aberrance that might be here. Between you and me, I am not entirely convinced that we don't already have corruption within some programs in control itself.
Oh my.
So we just need a patch cable just to patch control into. That's what we need, right?
Or
will
maybe
be
some module
significantly-
motivation.
It will be significantly more difficult than just patching in. We need to purge everything that is causing problems.
If central control is corrupted, we have to clean it of the corruption before we can patch it.
Correct.
That is not ideal.
It is not, but we are, in fact, wasting time standing here. Thank you so much for your help today. You can leave a feedback comment rating 1 to 5 to let us know how we did.
5?
Thank you for your feedback.
You're welcome.
This message has been recorded for quality assurance.
5.
Inserting GIF of dancing teddy bear.
5?
5 teddy bears. Send
Oh.
it now.
Ow. Wake up from a long sleep and everything's changed. Huh? I
think
got
five.
it. Speeder. 5.
Perhaps we should look around here first to see where some of the issues might be coming from.
That is a great idea.
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
Everything
would-
seems to be clear here. There's basically two, and Dot, your character knows from experience with control, that you effectively have two basic courses of action here. You could go, since aberrants. For the record, everyone, aberrants are monsters. They are corrupted code and corrupted programs, objects that have been modified, that they basically come to life, and their goal is destruction, consumption, manipulation, doing everything they can to kind of tear apart the protocols that hold everything together in the system. They're the antithesis of everything that the system was. And they appear effectively as monsters of all various types. You could search, kind of almost room to room, dungeon crawl style, and make your way around and look for obvious problems. You could also attempt to scan at least part of control at a given time. You may not be able to, as Switch said, you may not be able to link up to all of it. The connection has been sporadic, but you can at least try to see if there's any red lights dinging anywhere.
Okay.
I know how to help with this problem.
I reach into my backpack, which is really not there. What I pull out is like a it looks like kind of like a scroll, but made of system code. And I unroll a system scroll. It is a flexible screen that can be unrolled to see a map of the system. It doesn't always detect system hazards, areas that have been modified, or interiors of structures, but I thought it's a good place to start. So I unroll a map of the system.
That's cool.
What's that? Why is it in color? That's
This
amazing.
is a map of the system. You are here.
Oh.
We need to decide where we would like to go.
That is
Out of game
handy.
question. Is there a little red dot that indicates where we are on the map? I'm just asking.
Oh my gosh,
just
yes,
asking.
there has to be.
Y'all, this is the second time we've said it. If we say it a third time in this game, I manifest somewhere. So,
Just asking.
just saying. I don't know if looking at this, can we tell where it says it doesn't necessarily always show a collapse, but do we know of recent collapses or some nearby like large activity?
Did you want to look at control itself, or did you want to look at the system? Because you can, we're going to just do this real simply too. You can, this is a standard tool for many ops for diagnostician, especially for someone in a help desk kind of situation.
Okay, good.
In that sort of a role, is you could zoom in. You can do one of these.
Oh yeah. Okay. I zoom
on the
in.
screen and zoom in on control and actually look at different modules and see like if there's any places in control. Like that would be any like the nearest problems that might be there might be apparent right here in control.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I start kind of scrolling and fiddling. I also have one of my specialties is actually collapse knowledge. It's like something that I hold some information on. So I don't know if that would help in any way, but yeah, I'd like to see if we can't find some activity because we won't know much till we investigate the site of some activity.
Sure. We've got you can let's do this. Let's have a trait check to do that. And since it's collapse knowledge, that gives you advantage and that gives you an extra die. And we'll talk about how trait checks work. Everybody has 4 traits. They are body, mind, charm, and heart. Body's everything physical, mind is everything mental, including your senses. Heart is everything kind of social about your character, charm is everything social about your character, and heart is like your sheer power of will, your guts. It's also kind of your connection, your soul, as it were, your connection to the system. Keeping in mind that all of you are inherently connected to the system. It's one of the reasons that you glitch when the collapse happens, and it's one of the reasons that weird things can happen if you roll a lot of successes and get overload. And we'll talk about that. But let's have you make since it's a deductive kind of thing, have you make a mind check at a target number of 6 with advantage, so you have an extra die. This game uses D8s, so you have a pool of D8s equal to your mind score.
Okay, so that's 3 plus the 1 extra that I'm getting for it.
Yep. So you roll. Yep.
4.
Roll 48, and you're looking for a target number of 6 or better.
Didn't get any of them.
Didn't get any of them. Okay, so this is how trait checks work.
Oh no, wait!
If
I rolled a D6. That doesn't work. I rolled a D6. That's my fault.
Oh no.
That's better. I got 2. I
Okay.
had to roll the right dice. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Make sure you how to not do it, everybody, and then how to do it.
Well, we could have you roll D6s if you want to really be affected by the collapse. Because you'll never hit target number 7 or 8.
Right.
So yeah, we're using because we're all using D8s for this because 8 bits in a byte. Har har. Um,
Oh, that's cute.
that's
Oh,
also
I
why
like
your
it.
track. It's also why all your tracks are 8 boxes long.
Oh.
And so, uh, basically, trait checks work like this: if you got no successes, you fail to do the thing. There's some sort of a complication that happens, but you also mark a box in the skill track. And if you fill up your skill track, it allows you to advance your character. If you get 1 success, you succeed at whatever it was you're doing, and you would mark 1 box in your juice track. And juice is a currency in the game. You can gain and spend juice at various times. You can spend a juice to gain an extra die. You can also use juice to power some of your abilities that are more powerful. And for this case, H3LP, you got two or more successes. Means that you do the thing, you do it extra well, you get what's called a boon, and you mark 1 in the overload track because by being super successful, you find yourself you're pulling more power from the system. You're running it through your body, which is inherently a little messed up because it's the collapse right now, and it's going to start filling you up with the possibility of overload. You have an overload track. When that overload track fills up, let me know because then
Okay.
we will see what happens with your glitch or glitches.
It's getting
'Cause
it's getting hefty.
you gain
everybody.
a glitch. It's getting full, is what?
It's getting very full. It's getting very full. We're not there yet.
Okay, so we've got you zoom in on control and make your check and look around, and you note 3 different areas. And you see, there are some areas that have like the circle with the slash through them, like you can't read anything about them. Because the general access to them is denied. You've dealt with that before. But in the areas that are not like that, there are 3 that are pinging right now. One shows there's like a little dot for each of the programs that is in the module, in the node. And you see one dot or one module where there's a whole bunch of dots. So there's a lot of programs there.
Okay.
And it's reading that there is some sort of chaos happening. There's some sort of things are out of control. Things are
Does it
they
read as
can't
like a
they
virus?
they can't completely figure out what's going on. It could be a virus. It could be mass hysteria and confusion. It could be a fight between it
okay.
could be like actual conflict between programs. Where they're acting out, the programs are acting outside of normal operating parameters.
These programs are not functioning within their parameters. There seems to be some kind of program riot happening. I say we go and fix it.
Real quick, there's 2 other spots because I'm going to give you a bunch of choices.
There are 2 other spots.
You can fight about it.
It might just be breakdancing. That often happens. People start breakdancing. Everybody's sort of like, yeah.
There's
crowds around.
there's another node where there are 3 programs located, and one of them is flashing red, as in something is very, very bad. And the one that is flashing red moves next to one of the other programs, and there's an alert icon that pops up, and then the one that the flashing red one moved next to turns red and starts flashing as well. And then there's one module that does not have the circle and cross through, but there's no dots indicating that there's a program in the module in the node.
Okay.
But there is there's more than normal activity happening. There's always some sort of like electronic activity because control is always doing things to kind of regulate the system. In this case, try to reestablish itself. But there are processes running. There are significant processes running in this node, and no one is there, and which means no one is monitoring them. No one is causing the processes to happen. And normally, this is like literally people would be at keyboards, like doing things or
Right.
jacked
And
into the
but there's
system.
no activity at that location.
There's something happening to the basically you're in a computer, but control has a whole bunch of computers in it, right?
Right.
You have that. So in the computers within control, there's like in that node, there's significant computer, there's significant memory being used, significant processing power being used, but there is clearly no one, or at least your map is registering that there is no one there.
Okay. 2 additional problems. There is strange use of power and activity at this location with no one at actual control. And this location, this large dot here seems to consume, affect, and then continue consuming other programs. I suggest a very large virus. I hope you found this information helpful. Your feedback has been recorded and will be passed along.
Oh, you're muted. Cooper.
Cooper, if
I
you're
didn't
talking,
hear
you're
what you
muted.
just said.
Yeah. I just saying that. So we've got a breakdancing riot, a serial port killer, and like one of them avant-garde pieces in that other room where there's all sorts of activity, but nobody's there. So it's like that avant-garde music. Huh? Sounds of
Who do you-
silence.
Who do you think needs our help the most?
I am
There's my-
concerned about the potential virus.
Ah.
If it's eating other programs, it will just continue to feast upon them until we stop it.
This is true. It may also eat us.
I don't want to be eaten.
Fortran, you said that you could help protect us, correct?
That's what I do. Yes. I can protect you. Absolutely. Also, there's no backups anymore, right?
Oh, no backups. If you are
Toxic system failure.
if you are deleted, you are deleted permanently.
Ah,
I do not like when viruses take advantage of others. I would like to eliminate it.
well,
I am fine. Going to see the virus. Maybe we can talk to it and see why it is so hungry.
Yes, perhaps I can make it happy.
my job is to make sure that you're all safe. Gotcha. You know, that you only drink you only smoke Chesterfields because that's the healthy one. That you only drink a couple of beers a day or wines, whatever it is. You know, like I'm here for your physical safety. I'm ready for it.
I do not drink.
Me either. It would keep me from being helpful.
Firewall's
different-
eyes is just giving you an up and down, like just scanning you up and down over and over again.
Do you have a different idea of healthy than I had in 1957? Strange. I'll have to figure out how that update happened. Maybe we stop the serial pork killer.
Smoking is
From
no
what I
longer
can tell-
recommended.
You desperately need. You desperately need many updates.
Oh,
We would have
But
to
this
do
does
the
not make you
updates.
obsolete.
what? Did you say obsolete? What?
But that does not make you obsolete.
Okay, because I was getting really nervous. It's one of them makes my ticker it's the idea of obsolete makes me anxious.
Should we head to the dot so that we can help the virus?
Yeah, the large red dot, absolutely. We should definitely go there.
Fortran, I assume that you have a way to teleport us there? Or drive
Teleport?
us there?
Drive. Yes, absolutely. Would you like
You
to
had
see
to-
my ride?
You had to leave your ride outside. This is you're inside of a building, and there's nothing, no walkways in here or roadways in here are wide enough for.
I can imagine it.
Vehicle. You can tell everybody all about it.
I know.
How much you love it.
I got this. I got it. I make sure I stand up in front of everybody else. And then I do this. And I say, all right, everybody stand behind me. There's like it's pretty large, so you can just, back seat. You can be kicking in the front seat or sit in the back seat. You know, make your mind up. Which seat do you want to take? I don't know, because it is, after all, Sunday. And then when they get behind me, I just go, I just walk, but I pretend like I'm driving.
Okay.
And the silver screen will waddle very slowly over behind Fortran to get in line.
You hear very quiet metal, like ticks, as I follow behind Fortran.
A little bit of like something is leaking out from my body, leaving a trail behind us.
Silver screen. I wanted to tell you something. I haven't told you before, but I want to tell you now because we're driving and we've got, driving is when I want you to know that I believe in you. I think that in the future, which apparently is now, we're gonna need people who can inspire and lead others, and you're pretty inspiring. So, I just to the left. It's a turn. We're all gonna turn.
Thank you. I'm glad I have inspired you.
But you all didn't lean. It doesn't work. Don't lean.
It is difficult for me to lean right now. I prefer not to.
Oh, you got Bartlebeed. You got totally Bartlebeed. Literary joke, everybody. Everybody loves a good Scrivener joke.
Yeah.
I have had a helpful thought. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, always.
What if we reprogram the virus? This one that is eating other programs. Instead of eating programs, but if we program it to eat the aberrants, that way it becomes the enemy of the enemy.
That sounds
The
dangerous.
enemy of our enemy is our friend.
Precisely. I hope you found this information helpful.
5 stars.
I can distract you from the virus while you do the reprogramming.
Fortran has a mind of 1. So there's a lot of talk that seems to be a little complicated and above Fortran. Like Fortran's from 1957. Something that seems a little bit complicated. It's like, yeah, 5.
You make your way kind of through the lattice of pods of like there's just like these modules and pods that are all stacked around on top of each other with walkways that kind of crisscross, and there's space in between some of them. It's not good design, says the architect on the show, but it's good for a fantastical world. And so you have to kind of make your way, and you have to kind of go around this because there's a whole big block of modules at one point that are all kind of, you can't pass through there. They've got the circle with the slash. They're off limits. And so you make your way around all of this, and in your way you hear like this massive shouting off that's just very faint. You can't make out anything specific, but it's in the direction of that large group of programs where there was something chaotic was going on. You hear this massive shouting of all sorts of different voices. Then continue along your way, and you hit like Jetson style turbo lifts where you step in. There's no platform that you actually sit on. It's just a magnetic whoop, and it just zoops you up to the next module, and you make your way up there, and you emerge into a walkway that up ahead is the node that you're moving toward, and come bursting out of the node that you're headed toward is an op, a little short little dude like H3LP and
Salutations, operational program. Do you have a handle?
and they go running past you and say, there's an infection, 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 there's an infection.
What kind of infection?
And they like right down the corridor,
Can
I
make the program change their attitude? Like if they're, because I can insight one specific emotion in a program that I can hear.
Sure.
Can I like calm them down?
Sure. Does that cost you
It
juice
costs
or
me a
anything?
juice.
Okay. Spend your juice.
All right, juice spent.
And you can say what you want to say, and you will incite an emotion in them. Which one would you like to incite?
Please calm down. Everything will be all right. Can you please explain what happened in a calmer tone?
You access their code and upload patch that, and down and
Here,
like their
I'll
whole
assist
demeanor.
you.
They stop running. They stop shouting. They stop and kind of just like stock still, because they don't breathe, so it's not like they're going to be breathing hard, but they stand stock still and just stand there and look at you, and they say in a calm voice now, "There's an infection. There's 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 an
What
infection."
kind of
And
infection?
they keep looking back. It's transferring from program to program. There's an infection. There's an infection. There's an infection.
What does
There's
the
an
infection
there's an
do?
infection. He looks back down, and you see stepping around the corner. If you can see in my little picture here, this guy, a brow program type, which is a four-legged, kind of almost spider-like. They have normally big spherical heads that they project their face onto. This one's is broken. And their chassis and legs and body are kind of corroded and falling apart, like there's something that's eating them. And they are now click-clacking with all four of their legs down the metal corridor floorway toward the group of you.
I'm in front of the rest of them, just noting it. And I pull out a very large, in the game book it calls it a sword, but I'd like to think of it as a giant wrench. One of them big ones.
Sure.
I would like to spend 1 juice so that upon my first encounter, I know what it is called and 3 of its capabilities.
You have 3, huh? Okay. Let's do this. Give you that as a free action, effectively. Fortran, since you stepped up to start doing something, you're going to go first, and we'll deal with initiative. In the roll track system, you don't roll initiative; it gets passed around between people,
nice.
so you can actually plan the order that you do things in. As long as everybody goes in this round before you beat anybody in the next round, and we'll deal with that. Let's see. You help take a look, and you see that it is what now keep in mind the name that you get here doesn't mean anything to any non-op or sav.
Sure.
Typically, because most of the programs are kept away from all of that stuff. Like
Right,
ops
yeah, they're
identify
just-
and deal with problems and identify where they are, and then savs go out and deal, and
Gotcha. Okay.
contain the aberrant, because this is an aberrant. It is what is referred to as a code zombie. It's let's see. It's very three capabilities. It's strong.
Okay.
So not super strong, but it's strong. It is code hungry. So it wants to eat you.
Okay.
And it can infect you with the code zombie can infect you with something called the zombie code.
Okay.
I quickly yell out, "Be careful! This is a code zombie. It wants to eat and consume our code. It will attempt to do so at any cost."
Tick, 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 tick.
It will be okay.
Away.
We've got this.
Based on its strength, I suggest we run.
We need
I
to eliminate
do not
it.
got this.
Who's doing the reprogramming? Which one of you? Say with it. Just like being a basic physical shield between me and the more fragile code.
Now, something I want to point out about the roll track system. This was developed for Good Strong Hands to be able to do this, and it continues to be used in Nowhereville and in this game. Monsters or adversaries of any sort don't have hit points. They have a challenge track, and it's a number of boxes that need to get checked off. And it might be only 1 or 2. It might be as high as 8 or 10 for something exceedingly powerful. those boxes can be checked by any sort of a trait check, as long as you can come up with a reasonable reason why that would work. You can go up and slap something with a weapon and mark off boxes. You can make mind checks to try to confuse it. You can make charm checks to try to intimidate it. You can make a heart check to stand stand bravely and just take a hit and try to dole something back in return. And then you've got, your special, features and upgrades that allow you to do various things as well. So this is not, we don't have to assume, for example, that everybody has to take out a weapon. Fortran, that's obviously, kind of your forte, your fortrente. And help, when talking about like reprogramming it or doing something with its programming, like affecting it mentally or affecting the code that causes it to function. Like that is something that you could try to do, is try to uplink to it and hurt it or slow it or manipulate it in that way. And that would probably be a mind check.
I think
something like
Firewall,
that. So
you have that stuff too, right?
You can all be working toward that challenge rating in a lot of different ways. And then it becomes a question of who checks the last box. That's the thing that finally does it.
Would it be possible for me to spend a juice and ask you a question about this with hidden data?
Ooh.
I get a yes
sure.
or no answer from you.
Ooh.
Yep. A yes or no. You ask me a yes or no question, and I have to answer honestly.
Okay. All right. So can this, you called it a code zombie, right? Can it be reprogrammed?
Yes, that's your question. That's your question.
No, dang it. No.
I know.
I confirm it's a code zombie. Go ahead.
Yes. So can it be reprogrammed? Do I know if it can be reprogrammed?
I'm going to be kind to you and ask you to define reprogrammed.
Can we make it not attack and eat other programs?
I reprogram, basically. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to look to the group.
It is possible for us to reprogram it to make it stop feasting on others.
Okay, who's doing it? Who's doing the
I would
reprogramming?
prefer not to run, so I will distract it.
So let's start
This would
with
be very helpful.
and Trooper. Let's start with Fortran. Trooper, you can elect to just like let other people step to the fore. I was going to give you initiative first, but you can.
I'd like to
you
give a
want to
bonus
hand that
to.
off, you can.
I'd like to give a bonus to whoever's going to be doing the programming of it.
Okay. Then what you can do is in the game, there's a way for you to help, and that's by you spend juice, your own, that gives that person the extra die, so they don't have to spend their own juice to get an extra die. In the game, there's two ways to gain an extra die. One is by manipulating, getting into an advantageous position, gaining advantage gives you an extra die, and spending a juice gives you an extra die, and you can only spend one juice. Normally, you can do it for yourself. Just right out of the box. You can do it to help, as Trooper is talking about.
I also have an ability that lets me specifically spend a juice to give somebody an advantage die. So I have a special ability to do that. So I call it who's doing the reprogramming, as I sort of just try to be a physical, because it's quite bulky. Yes. I call it what's this?
believe that Help and I could possibly do it together.
Great. So I'm just kind of like a little bit like a Space Invaders, just kind of like going back and forth to sort of give a little bit of space in between. And I say, all right, Firewall, heads up. This is a code zombie, and I remember back in 1958 when we had some code zombies. You see, there was a little bit of a glitch, a bit of a backdoor firewall. There's a little backdoor if you go into the left-hand side, you're gonna see like a little tab, and you could put like a little slot card in there. And I sort of go when I talk about exactly like what this thing was like in 1958 and how to do that. And I'd like to use my feature tutorial 1.0 so that I can teach someone how to do something, which is about how to access like the old peripheries so that, because they might have good security on the new stuff, but nobody pays attention to firewalls from like holes in the code from 1957. And so I would like to spend my juice to give Firewall an advantage die by, letting her know about like super old knowledge. But because I am, how do I put this? a little older than everybody else's program, it takes me a little bit more juice to do that. Rather than spending 1 juice to do that, I have to spend 2 juice. Because I'm just not efficient like modern programs. Do you know what I mean? So I will spend my 2 juice, and Firewall, you will get an advantage die on
in
your
game
next
term.
check.
Game terms, everybody. That's the effect. One of the effects of his glitch.
That's my glitch. I'm kind
Okay,
of
so that gains Firewall. That
Oh.
gains you advantage outright. I assume that means Fortran, you want Firewall to go next,
Yes, please.
because you get to choose. So for Firewall, you've got whatever.
Oh no,
amount-
I don't think I want Firewall to go next because I think I want to like set us up for like big bonuses, right?
Mhm.
So I've given her a bonus, so I think I want to pass it over to Silver Screen because I feel like Silver Screen can also do some like just gonna try to get all our setups in.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Silver Screen goes next.
Silver Screen is going to. Can I give myself an upgrade and then do the action?
What do you mean by upgrade? An upgrade's an ability.
Yeah, so
Make
I
sure you're
have.
using the right terminology.
Yeah,
You use
because
an
I have an
upgrade?
upgrade that can give me a +1 to one of my traits. I move one of them to lower it, and then I increase another one to 1, extra 1. So it gives me like extra bonus. And then I was
Right.
going to do the feature that which is a highlight 1.0, which lets me keep someone's attention and they can't take their eyes off me.
Okay, so you're going to do a trait trade, basically lower one by 1 to increase 1 by 1. Can't go below 1, can't go above 4. And you're going to get this thing to look right at you.
Would that be a charm? So I'm going to increase my charm to 4.
The ability, as it's written, says, I believe, you spend a juice and you do it.
Yeah.
That's the trade-off. You don't make a check. You spend a juice. You use a limited resource and you do it.
Okay.
Just happens. You're a hero. You're a protagonist. You have some of those. But that's not to say that you can't, still do your trading to increase a trait if you want to. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm not muted. I'm just confused because it says spend 1 juice, reduce one of your traits by 1 to a minimum of 1, and increase one of your traits by 1 to a minimum or to maximum of 4. So I was just saying, I wanted to make sure that whichever one I was increasing is the right one. So I was saying my goal is to use my other feature, my highlight feature, to keep someone's attention so that they can't take their eyes off me. That one you're saying doesn't require a roll.
Does not require a roll. You spend
Oh.
a juice to do it. Yeah, that's the resource you use up. Normal in the system, usually there's you can spend a resource to do something, or you can make a check. In which case,
It
there's a
didn't
chance of
say
failing.
that, so I will spend 1 juice to that. Okay. So never mind. I don't need to do the cannibalize code then. I can just do the highlight 1.0. So I think Silver Screen kind of like steps off to the side next to Fortran because Fortran's protecting us, but I don't want to go too far away from Fortran. But on Silver Screen's screen, you see a Twitch stream and little red dot is on there because, we have to manifest it.
Third little red dot. There it is.
Entertain them.
Yes.
What is the
You
little
passed
red
it to
dot
me.
on the Twitch screen saying?
Hold on just a moment. Yeah, actually, you know what? You're right. You don't for highlight. You don't spend a juice. Sorry. The trade-off here is that you put yourself in harm's way.
Yeah, I can't move.
You
Okay, cool.
have to like, yeah, you're going to take it. Like if this thing's going to attack anybody, it's probably going to attack you.
Yeah, I'm crab walking back and forth next to Fortran, and then on my screen is a little red dot that's like dancing.
Perfect.
I will distract
see.
them with this.
Right. I see this distraction, knowing that it's our chance for Firewall and I to get this change, this code alteration started. So I pull out a code scanner. I swing it out and I start trying to read this thing while it's distractedly running at the silver screen. And I have two specialties, which is helping others and collapse knowledge, which I feel like both specialties qualify for this role.
There is a specialty called aberrant knowledge, so that would be more applicable to this, but helping others certainly.
Question about the collapse knowledge. Can I tell what kind of virus this is so that I can reverse it, alter it, or like reprogram it better?
That's going to be more under aberrant knowledge.
Great. So I still have an aberrant focus, which I'm happy to. Well, I already know its capability, so I can't really do anything in regards to that. Ooh. No, I'm just gonna try to start recoding this thing. I'm gonna use my mind ability with a specialty to start trying to code it. Does the code scanner help in any way as a piece of gear?
Not particularly, but you can spend juice.
Okay.
And you're going to gain advantage. I'm going to give you advantage because this thing is basically going to ignore you because it's focused entirely on Silver Screen.
Okay, so
now here's the kicker. All that great advantage you just gained. Think in one of my games that's going to come for free.
No, I know it's not.
Silver Screen is in harm's way. You are going to need to touch the thing because you can't get into it wirelessly. You're going to need to walk right over next to it.
Which is a body check is what you're going to want, right? Wait a second. Question.
No, you'll have to touch it, and that's easy enough to do. It's not trying to avoid you because it's going after Silver Screen. It'll be a mind check to make to try to mess with its code. But you will be the point is that you will be right next to it.
Do you consider this part of the system? Because if so, I do have a system jack 101, which means I can jack into it wirelessly from anywhere without the aid of the device. I don't know if that makes a difference, but
the system jack is more of a monitoring the system, how it's doing. It's monitoring the system's health and functionality.
I guess I'm gonna touch it then.
Aberrants fall outside of all of that except for aberrant knowledge.
Calm yourself. We are here to help you. My name is H3LP. What is wrong?
And give me a mind check at target number 07.
7, but I get helping others. And because of my our dear Silver Screen in the way, right? Do I get another?
Oh, you only get advantage once, but yes, you do have advantage, so 1 extra die.
Okay, so 4.
Right. Firewall's about to be able to do essentially the same thing or something similar with the bonus that Fortran provided too, so.
Boom! 3. 3 successes.
Successes.
So everybody, I overloaded.
So that's a whole bunch. That fills up your overload track.
Yeah.
Right, we'll deal with that in just a moment. You go up there, you touch the thing, you start trying to overwrite its code, and you do succeed. And I'm going to mark. Because it's a more than 2 or more successes, it's a boon. So that gives you two of the challenge track boxes get hit. However, this is a code-based thing. I'm going to have you make a heart check, target number 5, as the corrupt code inside this thing tries to actually pass into you while you're interfacing with it.
Oh no. Well, I wanted to see if there was anything I could do to help myself out here. There's not, so I'm gonna just have to make it at 2. Okay.
Okay. It's a reaction, and that's in the game. That's a reaction check. You don't mark any of your any of your tracks for that. It's just a check I do that you make to determine whether or not you get affected by some other thing.
What did I need?
You did 5.
Okay, I got 1 success.
Got 1 success. Okay. 1. So your code and its code kind of hit, and it doesn't start consuming. It doesn't start consuming your code. And does not infect you. And you hurt that thing, and it's going to ignore you and try to bite Silver Screen, who is distracting it. So Silver Screen, I need you to make.
Does that happen before or after Firewall does?
This is all happening. This is all happening like right after Little Red Dot's turn. Because there's not an initiative order, just to explain the system, because there's not an
Point it.
initiative order that everybody rolls and puts themselves in. My baddies get their turns effectively. I can decide when they do. They might happen right before your turn, might happen in response to something that you're doing. I tend to do the in response to. Like, so now that you've tried to attack this thing for the first time and it's right next to Silver Screen, that's when it's going to take its shot. In the system, the GM does not roll dice. So, Margaret, I need you to roll a target number 6 body check to not get bitten.
Oh no, you guys! I only have like 1 dice. My body is 1, so I just roll 1d8, right? All right,
Target number
here we
6.
go. What am I? I'm trying to get 6 or above. Oh, that's not happening. 5, just below.
Yeah, Mark 1 physical condition.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Hey, pardon me. I'm sorry about that. Here's the thing. I'm gonna just step right in the way and just take that instead, if you don't mind, because we noted Silver Screen is right next to me. She said so. And here's the thing. I just can't let that happen. I'm just gonna cause I'm space invadering is it, and I'm just gonna and I'm gonna just take that hit if you don't mind, because I got an ability. It's called Installed Shield. When an ally can see as to mark 1 or more physical conditions, I can just take them. And if you don't mind, Silver Screen is just so inspiring. You know what I mean? Like Silver Screen's be like the leader we all waited for, I don't know, like Rosalind Russell or something. And I'm just gonna take that. Just gonna take that.
Okay, so you mark a physical condition.
I will.
And
Thank you,
if you did
Fortran.
not have, if you did not have any marked previously, you'll mark the exhausted box. Which
Oh,
is not
You're so
does not
helpful.
no dice modifiers, but you're getting closer to those.
thanks.
Oh, Silver Screen is fine. Dot, I need you to make a decision. You are going to glitch. So you can do one of 2 things. Since you already have a glitch that's at version 2, you can choose to advance that glitch to version 3, or you can roll randomly, random tables, to gain another glitch. This is what you've been waiting for. This is why you've suffered with version 2 of your glitch, because in the game, the version 1 is always kind of a cosmetic thing. It's more of a role play kind of thing usually. Version 2 tends to be a game mechanic sort of problem that you have to deal with.
I want to advance it to version 3.
Version 3 is where your character figures out how to harness their glitch and gains some sort of benefit out of it, but while still dealing with the downsides of it. So
Very good one.
You can tell us what version 3 does if you want to spoil it, or you can hang on to it and use it later.
Okay.
Maybe.
No. I think you see there's the data transference and things are going bad and all of that energy comes like pouring in from the system, and I get this overload. And you watch as my corrupt arm goes from being kind of limp and unusable, and it manifests into this claw-like hook hand, and it becomes like a weapon in it itself.
This is going to be very helpful.
Oh my.
Okay, so yeah, sorry, Firewall's turn. And,
Okay.
You have an arm that like does cool stuff now.
Okay, I'm going to move quickly over to this code zombie after taking in the information from Fortran, immediately heading to where Fortran told me to try to like get access to that area. And as I'm going over there, I'm going to say to the code zombie,
You are corrupted and taking advantage of others. You must be stopped.
so I'm going to try to help H-E-L-P, and try to reprogram this code zombie with the help of Fortran's knowledge.
Okay, so you're gaining advantage, or no, that's the help die. 1+1 die, right? Or was it advantage? No, this was tutorial, so you gain advantage.
Okay, so I have an advantage. I do have 2 specialties: system knowledge, how the system is supposed to function.
And those would give advantage as well, and you can only have advantage once.
Okay, all right, then never mind. All All right, so I should be rolling. Is it mind?
Mind check, target number 6.
Okay, so I have a 3 in mind, and I have an advantage, so I'm rolling 4d8.
Sorry, 7. Did I say 7 before? With the programming.
Am I aiming for a target of 7?
I think that's what I said. Yeah.
I
Okay.
can go back and look at my roll and find out. Hang on, because I remember
was
how many
7.
successes.
Yeah, because you had 3
Thought it was, yeah.
successes and you had 2 7s and an 8.
I bumped it up for the mind check because it's programming aberrant, which is more difficult than just crushing it.
Okay. I'm going to roll a 4d8. I got 1 success.
Well, that will check a box. And this thing is now hurting. It starts to kind of spark and sputter, and like it's seemingly single-minded nature of like trying to lurch forward and go after Silver Screen. It's now like pausing, and like its face doesn't make you think that it's thinking, that it's like debating about what to do, but it is like pausing and not going kind of directly into action. And that's this round, which took a little while, but that's okay. I expected that in a game where everybody's kind of new to it. So, don't feel like please don't feel pressured to move. I would much rather see interesting choices and discussions for this, because it helps everybody to understand the game. But Firewall, you were last, Katie, so you get to decide who goes first in the next round, and you can choose yourself. This thing is still coming after the group of you.
Okay.
May I ask a question? I just have to ask a question. If you need more juice than you have, can you like take physical like what happens if you need more juice than you have? What happens?
You need to earn more or acquire it. You can. There are some programs that have ways to give juice to others. You can like juices in the game. Juice is not only what powers you, but it's also currency. Like people use juice to purchase things.
I can be helpful.
You right. And then there's like awards that come out of playing your character according to your anchors and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. But we have to kind of deal with. You might have to sit on having no juice until the end of the encounter, unless Dot's got something up her sleeve.
Can you get juice during the moment when you do the thing that's tied to your anchor, or do you have to wait to the end of the scene?
The scene.
Into the scene? Okay.
It seems that maybe you need a small boost. Here, take this. You should find it very helpful.
And I pass off a juice box, is literally what it's called. It is a
Yeah, I have
portable
one too.
cube that can hold up to 5 points of juice. It does take 30 seconds to transfer, but there you go.
That's the thing. You're that's good for loading yourself back up later. Not as useful in the midst of
In combat.
action sequence. But there are, I was waiting to see. I couldn't remember for sure. There are upgrades that where you could have the ability to share juice.
Yeah.
It's an ability that you have to take. You might have to just eat it for this one.
That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
Okay. So now I pass
Katie?
it. I pass it along. Okay. So I am going to look over to help.
This area is very sensitive. If you want to try to access it here.
And I'm going to pass my turn over to help.
Okay, help.
That
your
was
turn.
very helpful.
I have a view thoughts feature, which lets me read their active thoughts and their secret thoughts. Can I attempt to size this creature up as I'm kind of like clawed into it, trying to change its the virus's coding, basically, to see if I can tell where the source came from? Like, did this virus just pop up? Was it programmed here? Was it delivered by another program? Like, how did this creature become corrupted? Where did this corrupt code come from?
Likely, unless it's intelligent and thinking about that, that you wouldn't necessarily pull that out from thoughts, but you could attempt to code scan and try to determine like the source of you know, how the corruption, how the virus
Okay,
got here.
Okay, I'll do
That would be a check.
against it again, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Can I use
Be a
collapse
mind- it'd be a
knowledge on
mind check.
that, or is that? Oh, it's gonna be a mind check. Would that be collapse knowledge, or we still consider that aberrant knowledge?
For the purposes of, since you're dealing with an aberrant, it's an aberrant knowledge. Collapse knowledge comes into play more with understanding. There's things that we haven't really dealt with, which has to do with like what happens to the world as it goes through collapse phases, and things
Gotcha,
become
okay.
weakened. So you can examine things
What
and know
might
that like
happen.
on a scale of 1 to 8, this building structure is normally an 8, but now it's a 5, which is a problem if you're like a big heavy sav's going to go walking up into it.
Okay. Well, then I will continue to help others, maybe. Because we are trying to help whatever this program was before it was corrupted as well. Okay. I'll make another check. Let's give it a go. Sorry, my Roll20 refreshed, everybody. My apologies.
Okay. Target number 7, mind check.
Now, my overload, because I overload clears.
Overload,
how
yeah.
that
When
works?
when you glitch, your overload clears, so now you have no boxes checked on your
Okay,
overload.
that
So
makes me
it'll
feel
be
a
a
lot better
while
about this roll.
before you have to put up with that.
I did not get any successes over 7 that round.
Oh no.
You get a skill. You get to mark one for your skill.
You mark a skill.
Okay,
there's
that's
going to
true.
be a complication. I'm going to double check something here real quick. Your
I want to know where it comes from.
Be more
Yeah.
helpful, program. Be more helpful.
silver screen was using highlight, but that was your action for last turn, so it's not active this turn. So as a complication, let's have you make a body check, target number 6, as a reaction check, as this thing now tries to bite you. You get too close.
Oh, this is bad.
Oh.
Is there a computer terminal nearby
Sure.
within reach? Because I'm kind of attached to this thing. Like, okay. Here's my goal was to get the hell out of here because it seems like this is really bad. I can do something called data transfer where I can transfer myself from one computer terminal to another.
Right.
So my hope is to just get out of here before he bites me.
Well, you can't do it as like using Magic the Gathering speak as an interrupt.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
okay.
Like, the bite's going to happen.
Happened. Okay.
But you could
I rolled
extricate
a
yourself.
4.
It's okay. You get bit. Mark a.
Might I take that, please?
Going to use your shield.
Yes,
Jump
please.
in the way.
Yes, please.
And mark a physical condition yourself.
I just like I'm super awkward too. Like, and I just like throw my like super 1957 chassis right in between to the bite.
You're not like Jackie Channing it, where you like do a
No.
dive and flip, and you're just like clunk 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 clunk.
Like the idea,
Oh,
like,
no.
it's not smooth. It's not smooth, right?
Do
it's just
I
like
do I take any damage or do you take it all? How does that
I
work?
take it.
He
I
takes
take
it.
it for you.
That's a salve thing. They help.
Uh-huh.
That's really dope.
And like you
That
can
was
see
very helpful. Thank you.
like you see like bits of me like sort of crumple and fall off, and I'm like, oh, that's
Great
bad.
job.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see. That was the zombie got its turn there. It's got its action there. So help. Who goes next? And you're effectively away from the thing now because Sav kind of inserted
Right,
themselves in between the two of you.
I feel like Sav should take a turn just because you popped in and helped my butt.
Right, big
I-
tough.
Yeah, I'm going to just I am not going to do anything because we're trying to save it and not clobber it, and I'm kind of good at clobbering, and I'm also like low on power, and I'm also injured, so I'm gonna just stay blocking this thing at the moment. So I'm gonna just be ready to help.
Let me double check something here real quick.
Oh, wait, I can do something. It's not clobbering. Got one thing I might be able to possibly do. Look at it. I say, got like juice leaking and bits of myself, just little bits falling off. And I say, hey, Code Zombie. You and me, we're not that different. You don't gotta be like this. I tell you, I'm not that fancy manners and all that like everybody else, but I tell you what I do got. I got heart. I love this place, and I know somewhere deep down inside you, you love this place too. I know somewhere in there, there's a you that wants to shed off all this zombie monster stuff. Don't have the nuclear radiated drink or whatever you got going on. Let it go. Don't eat the brains. Come on. Come on. I'm around. I'd like to make a heart check to try to get that inner core program that's in there waiting to just, overcome this virus. Just overcome it. That's what I wanted.
All right, so on a D8, what's the target number going to be for trying to try to talk a zombie into doing something? We'll call it a target number 8. Heart check, go.
Okay, I'm just trying to get the inner core of that zombie to emerge. Here's my question. If you got a question. It's a question. If you got a foci, right, you can use that to get a bonus. Is that correct?
If one of your foci was imperiled in some way, and you saved it, if it's when it's imperiled, you deal with this disadvantage because you're afraid, you're worried about losing. For the purposes of the viewers, characters have foci, things that they cling to that are important to them. And when those things that they cling to are endangered in some way, they become afraid, they become worried, and they suffer disadvantage. And then when they save that thing, and they gain advantage for a time afterwards, they kind of come with a high of like look what I did. But if you want to start setting yourself up for that, if you've got a foci that's
okay, I would like to take disadvantage because one of my foci is the physical well-being of others, and like all of my friends here are physical danger for real, so I'd like to be at a disadvantage for this roll, if that's okay.
Sure.
Right?
I got a problem with that. Target number 8. Heart check at disadvantage.
Okay. Next question.
Greg's like,
can you get multiple?
Fine.
Well, because you don't get to get advantage unless you get disadvantage, right? So can you get multiple disadvantages?
Just like advantage, you only get one.
Only one. All right.
You can get advantage once. You can get disadvantage once.
I will take disadvantage because I'm very concerned about the physical well-being of others. I'm also now injured, which is a -1 die, so I'll be rolling at just 1 die total.
Target number 8.
I roll a 1.
Yeah, that doesn't work out for you. Complication. Let's see. This particular.
Say, come on! I know you're in there. Come on! It's deep down in there.
Code Zombie hears you, recognizes that you're trying to communicate with it, looks at you, says to you, not you mentioned brains, not brains. It's not here to eat brains. It says code. And starts to lurch toward you, and doesn't get to you or anything, but now it's focused on you. And whose turn is it next?
Well, let's see.
Firewall or Silver Screen?
I feel like we got to go to Silver Screen because Silver Screen's just right behind me, and Silver Screen is, has got heart. I have a little bit of heart, I think. So I got to pass it over to Silver Screen. Also, because back when in '57 there was a Silver Screen, it was great. I used to have. Go ahead, Silver Screen.
Code is nice, but I think you should feel a little bit more joy in your life. As Fortran said, we're here to help you. And H3LP is very handy with that. And of course, we will watch all of you through Firewall.
And I take out a glee stick and I just shove it into this zombie. This is a drug that incites pure joy.
Sure. Give me a bite. Well, the thing's got his mouth open. 'Cause it's trying
Oh
to
yeah,
bite
shove it in its
things.
mouth. Yeah.
So yeah, nice and easy. Body check target number 5.
Oh no,
Lowest
I'm
target
not good
number
at body
available.
target.
Lowest target number available.
Oh no. All right, here we go. I don't have any advantages to this, do I?
No.
No.
You gotta take disadvantage on our foci first, I think, and then you can maybe get it.
Ooh, could I?
Don't want to suffer disadvantage. I don't think she does though. She doesn't want to eat disadvantage.
Because then I would
right
have
now.
no dice in this case.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
All right.
What's the
let's
worst
see.
that could happen other than you could get your hand bit off?
I was
and
gonna say
get-
if I could cannibalize
Zombified.
code, that would help, but
Oh.
because then I could give myself another dice. So I'm not. So I
I mean,
spend a juice to do that though.
you can do that. You can spend a juice. Well, you can spend a juice to get an extra die. Period.
Oh. I'll just spend the juice overall then for the cannibalized code. So I'm at 2 body and I'll be down 1 mind. All right, here we go.
See,
Let's
a quick
see.
note on that.
Not plus
Spending
2.
the juice gets you the extra die for 1 check. Cannibalized code gives you that switch, so you gain your trait goes up, but that lasts for the entire scene.
Yeah, it lasts for the entire scene.
I
I
have a
accidentally did a
question.
+2.
Inside
Yeah.
as well.
I did not get a 5. Womp womp, even
Oh,
with 2
no.
dice.
So you
I
get
got
there with the glee stick
a 2 and a 3.
slam it in its mouth, and it doesn't do it. That's okay.
Darn it. I must have gotten an old glee stick.
Firewall, it's your turn.
All right. Well, I'll see that Silver Screen is trying to shove a glee stick into this, but I really Firewall really appreciated Fortran trying to reach to the heart of this, because one of the things that is important to Firewall is reestablishing a sense of humanity. So I'm gonna take a moment of going back into this code zombie to try to reprogram it, but then thinking maybe we can reprogram its heart. So Firewall leans back and stands up a little straighter.
You do not need to be like this, Code Zombie. You could be like us and come with us on adventures. Your heart is corrupted, but much like a virus, it can be cured. You can be cured.
And I'm going to try to appeal to its logical senses that it doesn't need to be a code zombie and eat everybody else's code.
Silver Screen will chat with you.
You can be
Chant with me.
cured. You can be cured.
He can rewrite your code. 101.
This is gonna
You
be.
can be helpful. Please be helpful.
This
Please,
can-
please
this
be
is gonna
helpful.
be. This is gonna be a
So
charm
creepy.
check. Target
Okay.
number 8, because you're trying to convince a zombie to do something.
Listen. Okay, so I
But
do
you
have.
you can spend you can spend a juice to gain advantage. Other people can one other person can spend a juice to help, chime in and but that basically they're just spending the juice to give you the extra die, rather than you having to spend it.
For the it's foci, correct?
Well, it's a
Nothing.
focus.
The focus, yeah.
Plural, plural.
Does that add advantage
Foci,
or
foci.
anything?
You have to take disadvantage first from it, and then when you're able to overcome that, then you get an advantage.
Okay, so I think what I might do is just spend a juice. So I'll get 3d8 to try to change this code zombie's heart.
Okay.
Good luck.
And so I'm at, right before I end my little speech, I'm gonna say,
Some of us don't even taste very good.
and
It's true.
I did not. I got nothing. I got 0.
Oh no.
Oh no.
No.
A
Whose
5, a
turn
6,
is
and a
it?
3.
Whose turn is it next? And I'm gonna point out that you've been clocking few complications from failed checks that I have not actually done anything for. What does that mean? We'll find out.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Yeah, whose turn is it next? Anybody can go next. This thing is on its last legs. It's in bad shape. It's like it's hesitating at what it's doing. It's like coming very close to you. Somebody just convincing it to not do something, to not keep eating.
I think I just shout out. I say,
Firewall gets to pick.
yeah. I think I just say, if you can't fix it, I clean up the mess at the end, and it won't be nice.
Some things can't be updated.
And I'm gonna throw it over to help.
Updated, you say? Okay.
This gives me an idea. How very, very helpful.
I'm sure your
I
idea will
will-
be great.
I will spend a juice to manifest this decaying appendage into a like USB drive in, like something that would port into the back of this creature, to try to finish what we originally started. But instead, what I want to do, instead of trying to rewrite its code, I want to pull the virus onto this disk, onto like a drive of some kind, or like a isolated program stick.
Okay. It is part of your body. Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll see how.
Um,
I mean, it is my decaying appendage. We'll see how it goes.
And-
But
and-
I
and
want
we'll-
to
and-
take it from this creature.
Do it this way. Basically, you spent a juice to create the right tool for the job. That's going to give you advantage. And it'll be a
Okay.
mind check. It'll be a mind check target number 7, but with
so
advantage.
let's
And
do that.
you still can gain another die from spending juice if you wanted to.
You know,
because the juice that you just spent gave you advantage just because of how you used it.
Right, of how it
Your ability.
can and I guess instead of like a thumb drive, can it you know how hard it is to hit the reset button on like a lot of things? You have to use like a very tiny thing to like hit the reset button. My hope would be to
Put the
maybe
paper
just
clip
like
in there.
yeah, the
Paper
paper
clip.
clip.
Say
I
the
want
word
to
paper clip.
I want to make my appendage the perfect tool to hit the reset button. For this poor thing, is basically kind of the
Which
vibe,
of course
so-
implies that all of you have reset buttons, but go ahead.
Yes, you know, it's fine.
That's okay.
Here
Uh-oh.
we
I
go.
don't. I'm too old.
I rolled
It's
three
like data telling
sevens.
like, okay, 3 7s.
Come
that's not as hard as trying to download the zombie code. We're gonna say
That's
that
good.
that does the job.
Okay.
You power down the code zombie, and its 4 legs kind of splay out, and its torso slams down into the ground. And then suddenly, after all of this click, 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 and things moving around, and you stop, all of you walking around on this metal floor, and the thing with 4 legs walking around on this little floor, suddenly everything grows very, very silent. And because your programs are not people, there's no heavy breathing or anything like that. Like suddenly it's just very quiet in this corridor. You hear conk, 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 conk from back down where this thing came from. And from around the corner of that door where it came from, 2 of these guys, they look like humanoids, but they're also decaying and coming apart, and clearly code zombies, start walking down the corridor. And then after the 2 of them, a 3rd one comes around the corner as well. And I think we'll go to a break.
Great
This
job,
one.
everyone. But it appears we have more.
All right. Thank you all so much. If you haven't gotten to yet, definitely check out Code Warriors. I'll put the link in chat again for you to head on over to the Kickstarter, or you can go to bit.ly/R4I Code Warriors. Definitely check it out. It's pretty awesome. I'm enjoying it. I'm sure everyone here is as well. And hopefully you're enjoying the story that we're telling here for Out of Control. And we will see you after a short break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Out of Control, our Code Warriors one-shot, brought to you by Nerdburger Games, aka Craig over here, who is our game master. So I'm going to toss it over to Craig, and of course, you can check out the Kickstarter. You can do exclamation Code Warriors in chat right now, or it will be in the link down below above the fold if you are watching on YouTube.
Yeah, everybody go check out the Kickstarter. We want to make the game is funded, so if you back it, you're going to get the game, and you're going to get the PDF pretty quickly, because it's more or less ready to go. And then the question of the book, if for those people who get the books, it's do we end up with a print-on-demand book, or do we end up with like doing a fancy schmancy print run, which is what I'm hoping to do. So in order to make that happen, we need a whole bunch of people to back so that we can spend the money to then also get the game book into, game stores and conventions and, like a really nice high quality product. So check it out. Back to our group here as we come off of our screensaver. All of you are in a corridor with one not dead, just deactivated code zombie. And 3 more that are now shuffling down the hall toward you, and 2 of them are click-clacking on the floor, and 1 of them is click-shunk, as it drags its foot across the floor, and they're making their way toward all 4 of you.
I think it would be most helpful if we leave now.
I might need someone to carry me, but I agree. We should run.
Perhaps
Firewall.
we can...
You got silver screen?
Can I pick up Silver Screen?
Yeah, I believe we defined silver screen as being very small, and help is also very.
I'm imagining Firewall carrying just a TV. Like my legs just like pop up into the TV, and you're just carrying a TV box.
I step over the code zombie that we've deactivated and like crouch down and pick up Silver Screen and start getting ready to follow the others down the hall.
And all of you can gain 2 juice. I took a look at your one for just kind of general story award, and 1 I looked at your various anchors, and I think you were all playing pretty solidly to 1 or even more of them.
Can I roll
rather
bodies
than, rather than belaboring too much, we'll just go ahead and just throw some juice at everybody. And if you've got a juice box too, like you can fill some of that up, because that's all fine and dandy to carry juice around with you, but it takes time to kind of pour it into your body, and you need to have it in your body.
Ooh, while Firewall's carrying me, can I pour juice into my juice box?
Start glug, 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 glug.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you said what we do in a zombie movie, and I would like to ask if I can make a body roll to make a barrier while they're escaping. That's like a, you put a, what do you call it? Boards against the door, that kind of a thing, like that.
Oh, bordering it up.
Try to.
Sure, you can disengage, the place is kind of in a little bit of a shambles because it hasn't been maintained properly, and it's malfunctioning, and all sorts of weird things are happening. And the zone, or the pod that you're in, a doorway into another corridor that goes off in another direction is. Like the doors are both kind of hanging askew and clearly not attached to anything, so you could take those out and kind of pin them sideways from door jam to door jam, and at the very least slow the zombies.
So I want to pull up the rear and try to make a barrier while escaping.
Sure, let's see how good that barrier is. Give me a body check, and you want to get 5 or better, and the better you do, kind of indicates for me how effective the barrier is long term.
-1 because I am injured. I've got rolled a 5 and a 7.
And you can basically apply first aid as well. You can at some point here as you're getting out of dodge. And you rolled a 5 and a 7, so you get a barrier in place.
Is that what was the difficulty?
5.
Thank you. So so that's an overload.
Yep, 2 successes. So yes, mark an overload. And you can remove one physical condition. First aid allows you to, actually you would spend a skill. We kind of forwent talking about what skill you're at. We'll just pretend that you had some skill marked because we weren't worried about anybody filling up skill during a one shot. So
I need it for my powers. I will not take that skill for the physical because I'm going to need it for later.
You've got abilities that require you to spend skill, not juice.
Yeah, if I glitch out, then I can trade a skill for a juice.
Gotcha.
Ah.
Oh, everybody, yeah. I assume you've got a couple of skill. If for the purposes of, like,
Did you fail any
mostly-
checks?
I failed one.
mostly
Yeah.
You failed one.
mostly
Okay.
so you have at least one skill. Just assume you've got a couple. We're going to kind of gloss over it for the purposes of that way. You've got.
But
first aid
normally,
available to you.
for those of you who are back home, you mark a skill when you fail a check.
Yes.
So, yeah, you bug out and you create a barrier to slow these things down. Where are you going?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No.
Help is going to say,
I think that we should go to where there is a power overload. It seems that the system is filtering through this one location. It could help all of the problems if we go to the source.
I always
Get in my
trust what you
fictional
say.
head.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a real cab, but like it's the fictional cab. So I sort of get up there and like just start like fake driving towards the other source.
so yeah, the plan then is to go to the location where we were seeing kind of the data, the flow through point or whatever was drawing energy.
Oh, the spot. Yeah, there were no
The
programs,
spot,
but there
yeah.
was a lot of processor power going. There was a lot of
to
memory
see
being
like
used.
what is being processed, to see if we can't get to the bottom of this, because we may be able to bypass the zombies and everything by just knowing what's going on.
Yeah, that was the third location you had mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go bolting toward that location, and you get to a node that is marked system scanning. And you're familiar with this help. This would be a location where there are a number of such locations where somebody can access to just determine like what's going on in different parts of the systems. Is everything functioning properly? It's control panel, right? You open up the control panel, you see where your processes, what's taking up the most memory and all that sort of stuff. It's really, but it's like it's the top level of all that. Like if you wanted to really manipulate something, that's going to be in a much more secure area.
Right. Sure. But this will at least tell us what is drawing the power and like where things are going, right?
Right, and it's you get in there and you see that there's work terminals, computer terminals that have all these screens up. It's very matrix. There's like 50 screens up on the wall all the way around the node, and there's a couple of different work terminals, tables and chairs, some assorted gear that's just been kind of strewn about. A lot of it is broken, or in the case of a couple of pieces, it's embedded, like it's artifacted into, like it's like something has happened in the system where these two objects like melded, like you've seen video games where like
yeah.
you get stuck in a wall, or there's like a car stuck in a building, and because of a glitch in the system. And you see on these screens just numbers, just scrolls of numbers and data that's kind of pouring up and down, and you could examine all of that.
What does all of this mean? You can put me down now, Firewall.
Great question. Let me answer that for you.
I'm imagining that you take Silver Screen by the sides and just go chunk, and the feet just kind of drop out.
You just shake and the legs come out.
Just shake, just jerk the body one time, and the feet go punk, punk.
I like it.
As long as I
do.
know I wouldn't slam Silver Screen into the ground and break them, yeah, I would do that.
You're just gonna shake the legs out.
Just like shake your little legs out and then throw you on the ground.
And then
I have a little bit of I have a question. Are there any dead programs that have been left behind whatever happened here?
Yeah, I actually have that question too.
Oh, dead programs. You don't see
Yeah, because
any
you said stuff
out
was
and
like lodged in the walls and stuff.
You don't see any out and about. Like there's no dead body. One thing you've noticed, this is something that you know from, we didn't talk about this. When a program dies, when they are deleted, they de-res. We all saw Tron, right?
Mm-hmm.
They disappear after like a minute or so. So the body remains for a short time and then it disappears, and the data that was stored elsewhere gets reconstituted into a new body at the next upload of
So no
of
recently
backup.
dead programs here. They've all been de-resed.
If anybody did die here, they've been de-resed, and there's nothing left behind. There's not going to be like a pool of blood or anything like that. So unless they left actual evidence, they were there.
But similar to Help, I also have stuff
you can all search the room to look for that kind of evidence, or as well, clues and ideas, as well as other ones, because I know that some of you are particularly good at investigation type things.
I'm not good at the investigation part, but once you find the dead body, I'm good at stuff with that. I'm good with dead bodies.
I guess I'm just gonna search the room because I have system knowledge on how the system is supposed to function. And I also have gather information from other programs. So can I just do an investigation of what might be going on in this area?
Sure. Give me a mind check with advantage for system knowledge.
Okay.
Anybody else wants to make checks looking for, like picking like where you're applying your check? Like what are you searching? You could be physically just searching for like physical clues. Like this could become a little bit of a detective story where it's like, are there cigarette butts around the corner where the smoking person was waiting?
I'm
like
looking
and there are panels and like little storage lockers and all sorts of things in here. So there could be stuff hidden, there could be all sorts of things going on.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to mind check for that?
Well, if you're just walking around, popping open panels, looking around, that's just in general. That you just spend the time. Like eventually you'll find like, oh look, there's a there's this thing, as long as it's not like real small. So if you just want to just go through and pop panels open, you can just spend your time doing that. If like Firewall's looking for specific like system oriented, like what is wrong with the system that's causing all of what's going on in here, just give me an idea of where you're.
I will I'm not going to search for anything because I'm not good at that stuff, but I will change my skin to illuminate because I have Chrome Skin 1.0. So I will be shiny and I will help light and illuminate areas that are maybe dark for you guys. And I think they're just like cheering you, like,
you can find the clues. Look for something. I'm sure there's something there.
Just like cheering you on while you're looking for stuff.
This won't apply to Firewall, what you're specifically doing, but it could potentially to other people too. We'll get around to the rest of you in a moment. That extra light is going to provide advantage as far as like finding anything that you identify visually. You just everything's lit up. It's going to be less likely that you're going to miss something that's kind of in shadow or something.
So for me, what did you say? What my target is?
Mind check target number 6.
Okay. Oh, I got a 1, a 2, a 4, and a 2.
Oh no!
There sure is a lot of data flying around here, Firewall, and yeah, there's a lot of data flying around here.
Has a lot going on in here.
It is very distracting.
All right then. Can I, if I hone specifically to a panel, like one panel, to investigate, if I just tried instead of overall look, but focus on one area, would you allow me to re-roll?
I'll let you make a recheck at target number 1 higher.
Okay, that's fine with me. I'm down for that.
Target number 7.
There's just a lot going on. I just saw a code zombie, silver screens lighting up. I'm a little distracted. So I will do a moment.
Still with advantage because of system knowledge.
Okay. I'll get my bearings and I will. So now it's a 7, right? Target?
Yes.
A 5, a 1, a 2, and a 5.
Mark another skill.
Wow.
Scan failed. But it's okay. You'll do better next time.
Yeah, let's
Can I what looks to be the most damaged piece of equipment or item in this room? Are there any like claw marks? Is there something weird that happened here in the past, or does this just seem to be the through point for all this data?
Muted.
You're muted.
While he's pointing out, I'll just say that Fortran pulls out an old like electronics testing kit and is going to go and do like is going to do a little bit of like testing circuits. I'm going to activate one of my upgrades.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Wait, you're upgrading your glitch?
No, like, I'm using a power rather than doing a test. I'm going to do a power like while you're doing your role, right? And you're like doing your check. And in the background, I'm doing a thing. It's not going to be a roll. It's just I have to spend juice for it. So like
gotcha.
Yeah. So like while you're doing that, I'm in the background doing that. I'm just like pulling out. I'm also just vamping until Craig gets his sound back.
It's funny you say that because that's actually kind of what I'm hoping to kind of do.
Oh.
I'm hoping to ask an object a simple question. It says object.
That's better
and
than
then
the dead
receive
program.
Well, it's funny. It says ask an object or dead body before it dereses a simple question and receive an honest, accurate reply. So it's anything that's not living. So I was hoping to find the thing that had like some damage to be able to ask it some questions of like how it got to this state to see if we can.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, like a
yeah.
console or like a table or
Yeah,
the walls
yeah.
even.
It's like what happened here kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Go from Craig. Do you want to God. Oh. I tried to do anything?
Is he back?
He's not in Discord yet.
His Discord crashed. Got it.
Yeah.
You would see Firewall kind of aimlessly wandering in the background. Just
Why do you think the Code Zombie would not have a change of heart?
Sometimes
Maybe it
programs are too corrupted.
just needed more time, maybe.
Even my Glee stick didn't work.
It was so resistant to change.
Yeah.
This sounds like the virus to me. It is not the program's fault. We must not blame them, but instead the source of such an item.
With humanity, didn't they have the capability to change even if they were corrupted?
Maybe they just need more laughter in their lives.
They don't know how to change.
Like that.
They don't know what. Well, I mean, I figured to change the heart, they got to rewrite their own code. Maybe they're just not, they've not done the work to figure out who they are yet,
Their
Might just take a bit.
foundation?
Yeah.
But
Just
not
might
all
take.
programs are even able to rewrite their own code. There are specific programs meant for rewriting code, and then there are specific programs who cannot do such things. They must need our help.
Yeah.
How do you
Perhaps.
imagine we can help them?
I thought maybe when Fortran tried to appeal to its heart, if you will, that it might change. But based on experimentation so far, it seems as if it was incapable of doing so. Perhaps we can write a program that will allow it to change.
Oh,
A heart program.
yeah.
Free will?
What is that?
From my research, free will is the ability for someone to make a choice of their own. Perhaps that's what we need to combat the virus.
Oh, maybe. Or you just need inoculations. I could get a vaccine. We could maybe do that.
Ooh, that could also be helpful.
I am not
This
good
is
at the
how I was
program.
trying to fix our friend earlier, but unfortunately, my altered virus did not work.
But you got some of that virus in that download stick thing you got, right? So maybe you could work on it later.
I chose to reset it instead. It seems dangerous to take on the virus myself. I am an operational code, after all, and to be corrupted by such a virus could mean the entire collapse.
That's probably a wise decision.
Can anyone hear me?
Yep, we
Yeah.
can hear you.
We
Okay.
read loud and clear. That is very helpful, Craig.
Oh, did you all
Okay,
hear that
thank-
voice?
101. That's 5 in binary.
So, I guess what my hope was, Craig, was to use, excuse me, this upgrade I took called Object Interference. I can ask an object or a dead body before derezzing a simple question and receive an honest, accurate reply. So I was looking for an object here in this node that seems to have undergone like a lot of duress or struggle or was harmed in some way, so I could ask this inanimate object a question.
Sure. There's an overloaded terminal.
Okay. I go up to this overloaded
That's
terminal.
like the screens are blank, and it's like there's burn marks. There's like an electrical fire, like something to like burn some stuff out.
Gotcha. Okay, so I go over to this. I'm gonna spend a juice. I'm running low on juice here. Oh no, I'm not, because you gave us more. I use a juice to ask an object or dead body a simple question, receive an honest and accurate reply. So I come over to this thing and I slot my hands into, whatever kind of node or slot point it has where I can make a direct connection with it. And I tip what would be considered like my head down to listen very delicately to this thing. And I say,
Do not fear, console. I am the H3LP system. I am here to help you and other programs. Could you please tell me what has happened here?
Okay, and could you do me a favor and remind me specifically what the ability says? Because yes, I designed it, but it also went through iterations, and I don't always remember the exact role
it
that I
says,
ended up using.
ask an object or dead body a simple question and receive an honest and accurate reply.
Corrupt code uploaded to entirety of control system. I program within control. Unknown program. Unknown program. Unknown program.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
said that-
Yeah, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
I just turn around and I say, I have spoken to the
I have spoken to the console. It seems that there is a corrupt program that has come from unknown origins that is moving through the system.
We must find this program.
Agreed. It seems like the most helpful thing that we could do.
Does
A
anyone
quick
have a way
note.
to find it?
Maybe.
I think you're going in the right direction, but let me offer this up real quick note. Because in the game you are programs.
Yeah.
When I say program, I'm talking about people. Anything that runs on a machine is an app.
So there's a
Okay.
being wandering about. That's a sketch.
There's a program of one of the 7 types.
Like one of us.
Something. Yeah,
Yeah,
one of
that's what
one
I
of
figured.
you. Yeah, just wanted to be clear because
Thank you for
I
the
am going-
clarification.
I pull out like a electronics test kit and a slide rule, and I sort of like start looking at a little voltage meter, and I'm just testing. And I would like to spend 2 juice because I bleed a little bit 'cause I'm old. I'm a little old to do a system scan, which means I can detect the corruption level in the ground, buildings, and non-living things in 100 feet on a scale of 1 to 8. So I want to assess our corruption level. All right, since we seem to be like in an important locus, right? So I would like to test, like a little. It looks very 1950s. Side.
sure. It's got like vacuum tubes sticking out of it, or the system version of vacuum tubes. So yeah, this will detect in like the environment, basically the built and natural environment.
Going out to 100 feet.
To 100 feet, so it'll hit multiple nodes above and below. Now you're about halfway up the tower. It is control. And so 100 feet in each direction, it's going to get to the edges of the tower, but it's not going to get to the top of the tower or the bottom of the tower. Structurally, The control is a 6, with 8 being 8 being the best, scale of 1 to 8. Control is a 6, so that it's not in any danger of falling down or anything like that. Like the infrastructure, the physical structure and the infrastructure are a 6. There are pathways of like electronic pathways that are used to send data around, because when control was built, there's no such thing as wireless. Everything was hard coded and hardwired everywhere. And so when they continued to build it, they continued to build hardwired capabilities, because if wireless, goes down, it's good. If your Wi-Fi goes down, it's good to have an Ethernet, right? So they did continue to do that. So there are hardwires that are running from node to node that in a number of places are very, very badly frayed. And are damaged to the extent that they won't transmit data at all, and so they rank at like a 2 or a 3, or they will transmit data very poorly, so they rank at about a 5 or a 6 on that 1 to 8 scale. All of those the pathways that do that all point. They spiral. They spider web out. They spike out from a particular location, and you can locate that node on map easily enough. It is a particular node that has 3 little dots for programs, right? That are in that node. So there's 3 functioning programs in that node currently.
Go ahead. Help. Could you pull out that map you got?
Of course, I will do anything that's most helpful.
So I compare my little meter, just really so old. Compare my little meter to your map. I'm like, right there. There's some frayed nodes. There's some corruption going on there. Looks like it's all pointing to that space. Do you see it? What you got there? 3.
I mark on the map and try to help tally it down. What is at that location?
It is an old, basically a server space. It's a memory space where so you could upload, download information, and it's also hardwired into a lot of other places. So both directions. Those servers could pull information from other places, send information out to other places. It's an information hub, effectively.
This is a
data hub.
A data hub.
Great job. Now what?
Well, if this is where the program is, then I suggest that we go as well. Maybe it's time for us to find some of that heart and give it to them.
Firewall?
Yeah.
Can I have another pick-me-up?
Of course. So as Firewall's been having kind of their little existential crisis, which is why they were so unhelpful, kind of walks over to Silver Screen, bends down, picks you back up, and gets ready to head to the server room.
Silver Screen's legs pop back up.
It will be okay. Next time, you will find something.
My head feels clearer. I cleared my browsing history.
Oh, it's always good to
It
do
is
a good
always
cleaning.
helpful to clear your cache.
There are
Clearing
no more
cook-
cookies.
Cookies.
I'd like it.
I do like the cookies, though. It lets me see stuff.
Huh?
Cookies are wonderful
All aboard.
for reading user data and making algorithms.
Fortran, perhaps when this is over, we can clear your cache, cookies, and browsing history. It might speed up your processes.
I don't think I even have any of those. I don't even know what those are.
If we update you, we will have to go slowly.
I don't know if I want to be updated, then I don't think I'd be me anymore.
I never
They'll
really
always
thought
be
about it.
part of you.
Let's get
Think
on
of it
that.
as a better version of you, each and every time.
I don't know. Get on my virtual taxi. All aboard to the memory. The lost memories are. Out of date memories. Old memories.
A lot of my memories have been overwritten.
Oh. I don't think any of mine have. But I don't got many. Got like 4, maybe 8.
You start making your way toward the data hub, and there is a shutter in the entire structure, the entire building, kind of shutters.
that?
Up ahead, you see Proc, which is like they're the most humanoid looking of the program types. Procs are usually they're processed, they're processors of data. They're as programs they are word processing documents, spreadsheets, data readers, data scanners, or not like
H3LP. Is this one of your friends?
Not threat scanners, but yeah, they're walking along, looking at. They've got like a little tablet that they're examining, and the whole building shutters. And you feel the floor. Those of you who are walking currently feel the floor shift under you just ever so slightly, as if like the whole building just kind of moved a bit.
Can I roll for some kind of collapse knowledge on this?
Sure. Mind check, target number 5.
Okay, mind check with the bouquet.
Oh, be careful with me, Firewall.
All of them! All 4 of them!
Mark Overload,
Dang.
you this is the precursor shocks to a plane, what's referred to like as a plane quake. And when an area is unstable in a plane quake, like basically it's an earthquake, like everything, the building shifts a little bit. It's possible that the integrity of things like structures will become weakened. This is how you get like people and things embedded in walls. If this happens, and then there's also a coinciding structural integrity.
I do not mean to alarm you,
Degradation.
but I feel obligated to share that this is a collapsing area. It is structural integrity is not very good. We should move and step lightly. And with haste.
I trust
I'd
that you
pick up
can all
speed.
move quickly. You can
all
do
start
it.
chugging along. You pass this proc who's he's doing the classic, not paying attention to where they're going, just looking at their screen. And then the plane quake hits,
Hey,
and the
you,
building
watch
shifts.
out.
And for a brief moment, you can see through all the walls. Like the integrity of the structure of the building becomes like ephemeral and translucent, and everything just kind of does a little shift, and in just a microsecond, that proc is embedded in a wall and screaming in pain.
Oh my. We must help them.
If we've seen Aliens, when they find the colonist that's like, I'm not saying that there's anything inside of them, but like the colonist that's embedded in the goo wall, and unable to free themselves, like you see the top half of their body, and they're like, the bottom half of their body kind of disappears into it, and one of their feet is like the front of the foot is sticking out of the wall, and they are screaming in pain.
Please, calm down.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Is there any way to help him? This is outside of my knowledge of customer service.
Can I spend a juice? Because it seems important to ask a question of the GM.
Sure.
A yes or no question, so I'm going to spend 1 juice. So they're clearly screaming in pain. I need to ask a yes or no question. Can we, if we remove them from the wall, will it stop the pain? Or stop them from screaming? I guess.
You can walk that back and decide. Which
I'm going to
what do you
say
want to ask.
pain, because pain seems more important than just the screaming.
If you remove them from the wall, will it stop the pain? Correct? That's the end. That's the question.
Yes.
Answer is yes.
Okay.
We must quickly remove them from the walls.
Trooper, I'm not hearing you. Is anybody else hearing Trooper?
No. They're muted in Discord. That's why.
Yes.
There you go.
Sorry, I
Gotcha.
said that-
That's okay. Wanted to make sure it wasn't me again.
No, you're good.
No. I just said that the minute this thing happens, Fortran blunt instrument just sort of rushes there and starts ripping, tries to sort of rip pieces of the floor, right, the wall floor apart there. It's just like
Tearing
doesn't,
apart the structure.
yeah, just trying to rip apart the structure, which I'm sure is not a bad thing. Huh?
Sure. Give me a body check, target number 7, to start working on that. Anybody else has any bright ideas about anything they want to do to try to help get this poor program out of the wall?
I'm not very strong, but I can cheer you on while you try.
Can I get a bonus die for using my toolkit or sword?
Sure. I mean, you can effectively just bash you're just bashing the wall apart, doing your best to not hit them in the process.
Yeah.
Self advantage, since it's a structural thing. It's not trying to dodge you. It's just sitting there. So normally against a monster, just because you're using a weapon, you don't gain advantage. But for this, yes.
But since I have collapse knowledge, would I know how best to get them out of a wall? Have I seen this kind of interference before?
Give me a collapse knowledge. Give me a mind check with advantage, target number 5. As Trooper starts working on that.
2 successes.
Successes. Mark overload. They are not embedded in the wall like a person could get embedded in concrete, where the concrete ends and they begin.
Right.
They are molecularly embedded in the wall. Wall and their leg and their lower body are one.
I do not mean to dash your efforts, but this creature is now one with the wall. Removing them would inevitably and potentially hurt them more.
Can we surgically cut them out?
And I pull out my shard light weapon.
It might actually be easier for us to rewrite the programming entirely, repurposing them and the wall into one.
Then let us begin.
I take the big wrench and I put it back my back and I step back.
What would you like me to do?
I, for the first time, may be what is considered speechless and have no helpful information.
That
I
is
think
very
I will
odd.
just.
Are you sure you're okay?
Continue to scream. They are in agony.
I'm just going to determinedly walk over to this and start flipping open a panel and just getting into their guts, if you will, and try to look at the wiring, start working on them to help alleviate the pain and do what Help said, which is like get them one with the wall.
Please calm down. Firewall will assist you momentarily.
You can spend some time basically deactivating pain processing so that they don't feel it. They grow calmer, not screaming in pain, but they're looking down with like sheer panic and worry on their face as they seem to recognize now what has happened to them.
As they're calming down, I'm going to speak to it.
How did this happen to you?
I don't know. I was walking and it just happened and I'm in. What's going to happen to me?
For now, you may remain here, but once we resolve the problem, we could perhaps find a way to remove you from the wall that is now part of your body.
Yes, you've gotten bigger.
This is terrible.
It's not always a bad thing to be bigger. Sometimes you can do a lot more when you're bigger.
Can't feel anything. I can't feel like before. I don't feel like I can.
Of me.
My feet, my legs. I can't feel anything. You'll come back for me? Yes, you'll come back.
Yes, given that I do not get terminated, I will come back for you. I have put you on my to-do list.
Good Lord. Right. forget about me.
We
What
will
is
never
your name?
forget you. Add it to memory.
Is your name? And when I was gone, I closed a bunch of stuff, including a bunch of names that I came up with. Fergus.
I'd like to activate another disadvantageous foci, if I might. Becoming useful again. I think sort of like about to rush in to sort of like rip pieces apart and then learning that would have not have helped at all, right? So that kind of the blunt instrument just doesn't work. I think that'll trigger my becoming useful again foci as a disadvantage.
Okay, so you'll be dealing with disadvantage as you are having an existential crisis about your usefulness as a blunt instrument in a series of problems that are clearly calling for more.
I
I
think
also
my-
have not yet resolved my last, my physical well-being of others foci. That one was not resolved since I triggered it, so I've got both of them right now.
Okay.
I would say my emotional well-being of others is being triggered here.
Right. So if you want to taking disadvantage until you're confident that, basically for the time being, you're worried about this person in particular, and you're
Yeah.
going to continue to be worried, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you're able to come and help them eventually at some point, then that will turn over into advantage going forward for a time. But for the time being, you are overcome with worry and concern that this person is never going to be the same. This program is going to be emotionally damaged. It is.
So one of my foci is avoid becoming obsolete. As the help system, I'm feeling very obsolete right now because I don't know how to help this creature. I'm trying really hard not to be obsolete, and I'm not doing a very good job.
Yeah, you want to take disadvantage for a while too?
Sure, why
being
not?
worried over this? Like
only got a
disadvantage,
limited time,
disadvantage
man,
all
let's do it.
around.
Yeah, look, even Bobby says everybody's taking disadvantage. Tell him.
Oh, so cute. I'm like, where are my
She said,
kitties?
yes, you are.
Mine's behind the green screen. She's sleeping.
Why not? A little, I feel like, especially at this kind of climactic moment, we've seen some things, we've done some stuff, but yeah, help is feeling very. Watching the team all try so hard, but as the customer service voice, I guess you could say, she's not feeling very, very helpful, at all. And she stands up and she says,
I have had enough of these games. I say that we track this down and we fix the problem, because without us, more and more programs will find themselves embedded in walls. This is unacceptable.
I do not want that to happen. I agree. Let's go. We can do this.
Firewall?
I am already ready.
Me too.
And off you
Then
go.
let us move with haste.
Continuing on your way to the data bank, I would assume. You arrive at the data bank to discover that it has a panel outside of the doorway with the circle and the slash, as in no admittance. However, the door, the sliding panel door into the room, is open. Inside is a small room that is just lined on all walls with databanks, servers, just like big stack, and like we're talking like 30 feet high, way up, all the way on the wall. So it's just
So
like this
many
big,
lights.
very science fiction-y room.
1950 style?
Kind of, yeah, like big, with like this room has like a high-tech science fiction-y equivalent of the old school like ladder in the library on the rails. But it's a platform that you can operate, and it goes up and down, and it's like there's a big circular rail that goes around, and this platform that hovers, and it sits on top of this little energy source, and you can go up and down, so you can get to other spots and there's 2 terminals down here. one of which is burned out and still kind of smoking a little bit. Like not like it burned out recently, but it's like it's just emitting a little bit of like you get the smell of ozone, like the smell of something sizzled and burned. And the other one is operational. The screen in front of it has some data displayed on it. And in the room are 3 identical ops, which are like the little short, square-headed, kind of rectangular-headed operational program types, like Help is.
Oh,
Salutations, operational programs. We are here to help.
I just make sure I'm within help distance of my 3 compatriots because they're warning flags here. I'm just physically right next to all of them.
Operational programs, please report your current duties.
3 of them turn to you and in unison say, "We are admin." One of them, in order, left, 1, 2, and 3, left to right. One says, "I am admin 221." The next one says, "I am admin 222." The next one says, "I am admin 223." We are monitoring, and then they speak in unison again. "We are monitoring data, input and output, upload and download, monitoring for presence of corrupted code, bad data, and control data usage."
ooh, maybe they know.
We have received information that there is already a corrupted program that is causing this system collapse.
This is where it's located.
3 of them say in unison, "That is impossible. We have been here for eons. We have been here since the beginning of this module. Data has been corrupted here."
Can I try to succeed at a trait check to read their active thoughts and a secret thought?
One at a time.
Ooh,
They are
cool.
while they are speaking in unison. They are individual programs.
Okay. So they are speaking. So I would need to read them one at a time.
They're individuals. They have spoken individually when they introduce themselves, but they're also like they've been answering questions. You get this sense that it's not them like necessarily connected and speaking together, but their protocol, their speech protocols are identical. So when you ask them a question, they each have an answer. It's the exact same answer, and they deliver it the exact same way.
That makes
okay,
sense.
so I'll pick 221 and try to view 221's thoughts.
And I will keep them distracted by continuing to have conversation with them.
So I don't have to spend juice for this, but I do have to succeed on the trait check. So would you say this is a mind check, Craig?
Yeah. Mind check, target number 7 to read a thought.
Okay.
To basically, to read you'll get the sense of the the gist of their current thinking, what they're thinking about right now.
What they're thinking, yeah. And then I do have because I've upgraded it, I do also get a secret thought from them as well, if I succeed. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and spend a juice because I'm sitting on one and this seems really important to add a die to this roll.
I think so too.
Okay. I think this is worth it. Boom! 3 successes, and I'll take a overload.
Overload. You're cruising to your next glitch pretty quickly.
I know. Sorry, y'all. But it is a success. I would love to know their thoughts and a secret thought from 221.
221 is thinking. Who are these people? Who are these programs? Their designations are not known to me. Attempting to access, control data banks and entry scans, unable to access, control, and entry data scans. Like as an op, it's trying to do what they would try to do, which is like they would access the system, access control to figure, like, hey, you came in here, you were scanned. The control as an entity knows that you're here because it tracks you. Like you're on like that little map you have with everybody on it. You're on that map too, and it's not able to figure out who you are. So it's currently trying to work that out. Secret thought. it's thinking, is one of the admins responsible for this? Is the admin that is responsible for this me, and I am not aware? Have memory banks been erased? Am I corrupted? Is one of the admins corrupted? Am I corrupted? Like you've inspired, like you incited them worrying about, like, holy crap, is something going on that I'm not aware of, and is it me or is it one of the other admins?
Okay. Well, knowing that, I continue to allow Silver Screen to with the distraction, because that's very, very helpful to keep them from knowing what we're doing. And I kind of back up nearest Fortran and Firewall. And I say in my lowest customer service voice,
I don't mean to alarm you, but it seems to me that these programs, if they are in fact part of the larger corruption, are unaware of such. Their memory databanks could have been wiped, but they do all function as individuals, so one of them could be corrupt and hiding it from the other ones. It is quite an inquisitive puzzle.
The three admins kind of go back to monitoring. They're just kind of generally monitoring and checking to make sure that, like, all the little lights are blinking the way they're supposed to.
What does
One
that
of them's at
light
the terminal
mean?
looking at data.
What happens when it turns this color?
Could I do? Sorry, I don't want you to. Were you answering?
No, I don't want to get. What is this light? You point at a given light.
Silver Screen is just kind of just distracting them and asking them random questions. You don't have to RP it if you don't want to.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, do this. Let's do this, because, like, I like to see trait checks, because we're going to show off the system a little bit. Give me. You want to be distracting? Give me a charm check, target number 6, to try to, like.
Silver Screen, charm 'em.
Ooh, yeah. I will spend an extra juice here to. Actually, I'm going to increase my charm to 4 for this entire scene, and I'll lower my mind to 1, because I think there might be multiple checks I might have to do here, and that means I can do 4d8. Ooh, I got a 5, an 8, a 7, and a 2. So I'm overloaded, right?
Yeah, mark overload. You basically turn into the little kid that's asking, like, you ask a question and then they answer it and then you say why, and then they answer that and you say why, and, like, the first one gets frustrated after like 5 questions, and then the second one joins in, and sometimes you're just asking why, sometimes you're asking, like, please expand on that, and, like, you're like you're doing research for a report.
How many stacks does this go up to? How long does it take you to process this?
You get all of them. They're not completely ignoring your companions, but they've kind of taken their minds and their focus off of their jobs and doing what they're doing. Although they're occasionally still kind of clicking things, but they each of them in turn just keeps kind of answering questions. And some of the questions they're answering individually, and some of them they're answering all 3 as a group. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason about why that happens. They're just like, so you catch them at a moment when only one of them answers, or maybe 2 of them.
Can I
make it clear that's not a puzzle for you?
Okay.
Otherwise we go down a half-hour puzzle.
Yeah.
I don't have a puzzle prepared.
Could I do since I have system knowledge and I can gather information from programs, can I see if they're running properly, or if there's some sort of issues within them?
Sure, you could go to the monitor or the terminal here and just kind of see if everything here is functioning properly.
Okay.
This is a pretty straightforward location as far as what it does. It's like it's a whole bunch of memory storage, and it's keeping track of what's coming in, what's going out, and you can access directories to see what is here.
Okay.
Sure. Give me a mind check, target number 6.
Okay. 3. Do I have an advantage with my system knowledge?
Yes, because this is just like kind of getting into, like, how is every computer in this place set up? And this is a world where everybody is at least somewhat basically knowledgeable about how computers function and whatnot. And with system knowledge, you are more.
Wow, I am not rolling well today. I got a 3,
Poor
4, and a 3.
Katie. I feel like every time you roll.
That code zombie really got in my head. So,
But you got a skill. You mark a skill out of it. You always get something, even when. That's one of the things I personally love about the system, outside of the thing about the system, is that every time you roll, you get something out of it. You're scouring your way through that and just not getting anywhere. And it's like, oh, this would be so much easier if I knew exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I turn to the 3 and I just say, hey, you've been here for eons, right? You said from the beginning?
All 3 together, that is correct.
All right. Who won the 1958 World Series?
They tell you exactly who that is, and Trooper, I don't know who that is, but no, you ask them, you ask them like a general old knowledge question, and they know.
I go, I got nothing. And that was my trap, but I've got a mind of once my traps are
This
not
is a
very good.
helpful idea. This is a helpful thought. Operators, so what are they? Administrators. If you have been here for such a time, you were here before the collapse, yes?
Is correct. They say all together.
What caused the collapse? In its first iteration?
They stop. They kind of look all at each other, and eye contact with each other a little bit, back and forth, almost like you don't know if they're speaking to each other silently, telepathically, wirelessly, anything like that. But almost like they are, like they're exchanging looks, right? And they're trying to figure out how to respond to that. And then one of them responds. Source of collapse unknown. Currently 726 possibilities. Narrowing down.
That's a
Are
lot.
there any rogue... That is a lot. Are there any rogue programs that have detached from the system but still are running through the computer?
They find themselves kind of going back and forth, talking, looking at each other again, and one of them says, rogue corrupted programs certainly present, unknown numbers. Minimum 3 in control at this time.
Cross-reference these... Oh, good.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, cross-reference them against the 700 additional cases. Do they match?
It is not believed the collapse has been caused by a single program or a group of programs. Rogue program activity attributed to the collapse, not the other way around.
And I think Fortran is just walking along the banks, because these are this is old knowledge from Fortran's time, right? And it's sort of just putting their hand on the wall of these banks of computers and sort of kind of communing with him a little bit. So here's the trick. Traced corruption, and there are a number of hard wires that have been blown out in the center of this problem. Is right here in this node. So what do you make of that?
They look back and forth at each other a bit. One of them responds, "This is true, it is distressing."
So, we know there's a program here impersonating, one of us, causing corruption, trouble, problems. And we also know that the root, the locus, the center point is in this node. So,
It could be one of us.
well, we just walked in. So, is there somebody here hiding that we can't see? can you tell us if there's a fourth program that's off of our vision? That would be useful. Or then maybe it's one of you three.
They speak together. They speak in unison. There are precisely 7 programs in this node.
Are you certain?
Then maybe it is one of them.
Elaborating again, there are precisely 7 programs in this node.
Oh boy.
Everybody, hold it. Everybody, give me a target number 7 mind check. This is sensory based, so if you have noticing things as a specialty,
I'm currently
apply that.
I have 1 mind because I gave myself 4 charm.
Yeah, and we always roll minimum 1, right?
Yeah.
Always roll minimum 1. Still a 25% chance of.
I got a
getting-
3, so no.
Okay, nuts.
Would I be able to use collapse knowledge on this?
This is going to be. This is no. This is going to be specifically. I can tell you. I can guarantee you. Noticing things is the specialty that will help you on this.
Trooper
got a single
got 7.
success.
I got a 7.
I got a 7.
Ooh,
Got an
everyone
8.
succeeded but me.
Okay, so everybody except for Margaret.
Who's doing the distraction?
When the 3 of them spoke and said calibrating, recalibrating, there are currently 7 programs in this room. When they've spoken before, all 3 of them, when they've spoken all 3 of them together, they've been like perfectly in sync. This time, they were not. They were all just like a fraction of a second off of each other. They were all, but like if you hadn't been really paying attention and you were used to them speaking together, like Margaret's character, like Silver Screen, you just thought, oh, they're just talking together again. But like you 3 picked up, like they're each a little. They were all just each a little
Okay.
off.
Can I pick the next one and try to view its thoughts? I'm gonna try to do them one at a time. I guess I have to make the same 6 trait check, but.
Well, can I? Well, never mind. I'll wait.
No. If
No,
you got
ask
a
your
better
question,
idea,
Hey, just to save your time, I was thinking I could ask the hidden data. I want to
Okay.
spend a juice, and I want to ask which one was off, which
Yeah.
one of the programs
There you go.
was not in sync with the others.
They were all 3 a little off. Like
All 3.
boom, boom, boom. Like just like a nanosecond, just the tiniest bit. Like, but you're super cool programs, and you picked that up. Like it wasn't 2 of them speaking perfectly and 1 of them being off.
Okay.
All 3 of them like being just like dunk, dunk.
Which one
I won't.
spoke? Oh, I can't ask. It has to be a yes or no question. If I ask.
Well, I feel like there might be something hidden in this room, a program we can't see, maybe.
You could say, did this specific one speak first or something like that?
Yeah, 222 spoke first. 221 was just a little slower, and 223 was just a little slower than that.
Did we all
So-
know that
okay.
though? Like from hearing it?
Except not me, but maybe
Okay.
you.
But the 3 of us
Sure,
did.
sure, yeah, sure. The 3 of you heard that.
So can I then run view thoughts on 222?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I will try. Don't have to use anything, though this could be. Okay, well, I will take some more. I got 3 successes. I'll take another overload.
Target number 7.
Are you
I got
rolling-
3 sevens.
Did
Yeah.
you take your minus die? Well, I mean, you have a minus die from your crisis, right?
Oh, that's right. So ignore the 5. So I still would have gotten 3 sevens because I should have rolled 3, not 4.
Okay. Surface thoughts, and then you get a secret thought too because of
Correct.
version 2.0 of that ability. Min 222 is thinking. They're afraid. They're thinking there is something seriously amiss. Why are these programs asking all these questions? Why won't they just leave? We've got work to do. Things, like we're not getting anything done. The secret thought, deep down, they're thinking, Everything's about to fall apart. I have to get out of here. They didn't say we.
Okay.
Can I I'm gonna ask my question, another hidden data thing, spend a juice. Can I tell that there is corruption in one of the 3 of these operating systems?
The ops.
I guess the three screens that are like talking to us, like the ones that we've been investigating.
Not talking to 3 screens. You're talking to 3. Okay, to be clear, you're talking
3
to
programs.
3 programs. It's actually
Yeah.
three little programs that look like help. No, okay, sorry, I got confused. Now ask the question again, please. I want to make sure I do this right.
It's the 3 little operating systems that we're talking to. Can I sense that there's corruption in one of them?
How are you doing that?
By asking a hidden data and spending a juice.
You can attempt to do that, yes. You have to pick your target.
Okay, because the thing says, spend 1 juice, ask the GM a yes or no question about the system or an aberrant, and they must answer honestly.
Okay. About the system or the... Okay, so about the system...
Or an aberrant, right?
An aberrant. Okay, so I apologize because when I had everything blow up on me, I don't have like my rule book in front of me. I had like
yeah,
stuff
no,
on
it's
I
all
was
good. If you
flipping,
need us to
looking at
look
people's
something,
powers and
let us
stuff. I just
know.
got thrown up. Yeah. So okay. So sure. Ask your question.
Okay, so we got our 3 little friends here that we're talking to.
221, 222, and 223.
Yes, and I am trying to suss out if there is corruption in one of them. Or if there's just corruption in them.
Yeah.
Right. But you want to ask me a yes or no question. Am I missing something? I'm sorry. I apologize if I'm not following.
I think the question is there corruption in one of these
The
3?
programs.
Yes?
Yeah.
In the
one of these
programs.
3 admins, are they corrupt? Is one of them corrupted? Is I think what Katie's going for, right? Farewell.
Yeah.
Accurate. Okay. So that's the question. Okay. Your answer is yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to look to the rest of them and try to
I
lower.
point.
Are you pointing?
Because I know, right? I kind of figured it out, but I figured it out by kind of scanning them, so you don't know yet. So I like my corrupt hand, like the hook comes up and like points behind number 2 to let you know which one it is. Like a neon arrow sign is like boop boop.
Okay. I want to step forward with. I forgot the number. It's 222, right? And I'd like to. I have a specialty of gather information from other programs. I'd like to check to see if it's operating correctly.
Sure. Give me with the specialty applied for advantage. Give me. I'll let you do this one of 2 ways. You can try to suss it out of your head with a mind check, or you can try to talk to them. And you don't have to role play the whole thing out, but you can just describe like what is the line of questioning or the discussion that you're trying to have to try to to figure that out as a charm check.
I have a higher skill of mind, but I kind of like the idea of asking this operating system a question that I know it should have the answer to and seeing if it answers it correctly.
Okay.
It's gonna block the door, just like as I'm part of my Mosian.
Slowly.
You know what I mean? Because
Silver Screen is oblivious.
But Silver Screen's still distracting them.
Yeah,
so
I think
like-
Silver Screen is just like looking around and kind of checking out things.
What happens if I hit this button?
So I think I will, because Silver Screen is distracting and helping that way. So I'm going to try to get the attention of 222, and I think I'm just going to do a mind check because I feel like it's the safest bet to figure out if this is the corrupt one, and then we can handle it from there.
Okay.
All right.
Target
So
number 7.
I don't have a lot of juice.
If you got juice, spend it.
I know. I think I'm going to. I'll have one leftover juice, but I feel like it's worth it. So that makes this a 4d8. Please, just give me one good roll for today.
Metagame,
a 7, an 8, and a 3.
Yeah! Woo!
When it mattered, you got it.
When it mattered.
You sit there and kind of like Silver Screen is continuing the questioning and getting them to keep talking and do this, and like all of everything you've done, you've been watching them, observing them, seeing what they're saying together, seeing what they're saying individually, seeing how they're functioning, how everything's moving along. I mean, you're all dealing with glitches. The collapse has been happening for weeks now. And even though they were, supposedly shut down here or kind of in stasis for a period of time, they've been functional within the collapse for some amount of time. You've seen other, just everywhere you've gone, you've seen programs that are having trouble with a lot of different things. And you're in control, where everything normally, like the ops can all talk to each other and they can talk to control wirelessly, and it's all very functional and quick and easy. But you've been told when you came in that it hasn't been, and that system is breaking down, and that like it's not always working properly. And you've encountered a number of different things along the way in this story where that is proven to be the case. Like they're hardwires that's not connected correctly, things that got fizzled out, that are damaged, terminals that are fried, code zombies going around, people, but these 3 ops are acting in perfect unison almost all the time. How the hell is that happening? You come to realize that the few times you've picked up where the delay, the little bit of a delay was there, it was because number 222 was leading the way. And the other ones have been so in sync and paying attention, and something is going on where they're, rather than like when I described earlier that the ops have the same vocal protocol and the same, like that the 3 of them are saying the same thing at the same time because they all have the same answer and they all speak it at the same time. What's happening is 222 is speaking first, and the other ones are mimicking them almost immediately after. So it seems like they're all speaking it together at the same time. And it's so close together that you only pick up on it occasionally when they blow their rolls, essentially, if they were making rolls, when they don't quite do it perfectly. And so they're definitely taking their hints from 222. It seems that if the other 2 are in cahoots, that's a possibility. They're taking their cues from admin 222. There is something not right about this op functioning so well in an environment like this, and this trio functioning so well in an environment. They should be having trouble doing exactly what they've been doing. And as you realize that, you also see admin 222 looks to the doorway where Fortran has stationed themselves.
Interesting. At this point, I'm going to say to 222.
You have been corrupted, and you are taking advantage of others. You must be repaired.
And I'm going to try to reprogram him or it.
At that moment, admin 222 changes form and turns into an AV program, which is basically think T2, think big silver shapeshifter type. But Their silver form is pockmarked, and things are dripping and dragging down them, and they are showing corruption and decay like the code zombies were. And their mouth is a jagged mess rather than a nice clean slit with like lips. And they lurch toward you as their two op brethren, who clearly aren't really brethren, just stand on and watch in just like shock. The group of you will keep it simple, manages to subdue them. Tell me how you do that, because we're getting close to the end of the time here. So let's play narrative improv games and tell me how you take this fella down.
Can I also transform? Because I am in Avbot too. Can I transform into like my form too? And be like
your normal form?
Yeah, exactly the same as them, except for I'm the non-corrupted version. And can I make myself like expand so I'm bigger than them?
Sure, you can be a little heftier. Yeah, for
that was a surprise
viewers,
and very helpful.
for viewers, avs are they're like avatars from games, and so they in the world of the system, they are celebrities, and every one of them has at the very least their normal form that they appear in, that everybody knows them as because they're celebrities, and then their form that, like, this is like when the actor like dresses down and wears frumpy clothes and like puts a baseball cap on, and like how they can hide. And some of them can also shapeshift into with higher level abilities, can shapeshift into other types of programs, and that's what this one was doing. And also in the process hiding their virus.
So I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm going to go ahead and spend my last 2 juice to do something I've not done yet, but I think will be helpful. Called data transfer. You watch as my physical form turns into raw data and enters a computer terminal nearby, and then I emerge from an operation computer like elsewhere. What I'm hoping to do is, while I'm in transit from one operational computer to another, I can spread a message to all like still functioning programs to let them know that we have isolated the problem code or the problem program, and we are in need of desperate backup.
Sure. Okay, so you do that. You put out the SOS.
Yeah. And so I bloop bloop to different like terminals, and I just leave the message behind, which is actually kind of funny because I can do that as well. That is something I can do. I can deliver a 3-sentence or less message from anywhere in the system. And so that's what I do. I like send it out across all the computers to let people know where, or to let programs know where we are and that we need backup.
Okay. What's everybody else doing?
I think Firewall I have a shard. It's a light weapon. It's a small bladed weapon that can be used in one hand. It's a 2-dimensional blade, and they like glow. They emit a light. So you see Firewall kind of stand up tall, and I like the idea that, you know, I've been kind of like a normal size, but now my legs fold out and I kind of start to get bigger, and bits of my body start to grow, and I have this light shard, and I start getting ready to attack this code zombie that was hiding in plain sight and try to help eliminate it, because it has taken advantage of a lot of programs and has hurt a lot of programs, and that is something that Firewall's not okay with. So it's time to take out this virus.
Anybody else?
I think Fortran assumes that the group is going to do a non-violent solution like they did before. So what Fortran will do is just keep the door blocked so that this program cannot escape. Like that, they're just going to hold the door, right? They're going to just sort of take their huge form and make it so that if this program tries to escape, that cannot happen.
And Margaret, is silver screen up to anything?
I'm going big mode, transforming and enlarging myself, and then I think the goal here is just to distract. I'm going to use highlight 1.0 and just I start glowing so that all they want to do is like keep their eyes on me.
Right. the Code Zombie, well, not so much Code Zombie, the infected Av, which is why they have their mind functioning still. They haven't succumbed to the virus completely. Attempts to flee, but because they are distracted by Silver Screen and can't really get their wits about them, they don't get anywhere near door where Fortran is stalwartly holding sway and saying, nope, nobody's getting in here, and they kind of bump into him, and Fortran goes kaboom and gives them the bumper ball bump right back into the room. While help is spreading the word throughout Control as much as possible.
We in fact need help.
You know that
If
some of
people
your
are
messages.
at the door, I'll open it. You know what I mean? Like I will open the door for people if they have to.
Know that some of the messages aren't getting out, but some of them are finding their home. They're getting to where they need to go. And then you've got your bit that is obviously going to, the only good location you can send there is probably you can send the bit down to either one of the programs down in the entry that you already met.
Yeah, that sent us on this. That's probably at least to let them know we've located it and we could use some help. So yeah.
So you send your bit, your message bit down there to do that, and the infected Av gets kicked back by Fortran into Firewall, who suddenly grows 6 inches taller. If we've all seen Superman, the original, that moment where Clark Kent changes his where Christopher Reeves changes his posture when he puts his hand in the fire and she realizes what's going on and he realizes the jig is up and he completely there's just this moment of the whole posture changes, stands taller, looks tougher, and that's Firewall in this moment. Firewall is Superman, and grabs the Av and pins them down while the two ops in the room look completely dumbfounded and don't know what's going on. And the group of you has found major source of problems at Control, and will be this will allow Control to move much closer to getting everything under control again, and not out of control as they have been lately, and may put the system on its way to mending and ending the collapse, which is a possibility in this game if you're playing in a particular mode, and we never really talked about that, but you can play the really hopeless one where everybody's going to die, and you can also play the one where you can stop the collapse. We're going to pretend that's what we're doing, where you're on, you've set everyone on their way to stopping the collapse, with your genius detective work and figuring out that, hey, even infected Avs slowly turning into Code Zombies can sometimes pretend to be little tiny ops, and hide in plain sight.
Programs have heart.
So thank you so much. That is the end of this story. This is the beginning of a greater story, but this has been Code Warriors, everybody.
Yay,
Craig, this is awesome.
Yay.
We're now in control.
Yeah. Oh.
Your help has been appreciated. 5 stars all around.
Yeah. So there we go. That's Code Warriors, everybody.
I love this, Craig.
Great job, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. That was a lot of fun. I was thrilled to see the low rolling Katie finally have a moment.
Coming in hot today.
Everything finally fell into place.
Yeah,
it was good
All
times.
right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Of course, if you haven't gotten to check out the Kickstarter yet, I will paste that in chat again for Code Warriors. If you are watching over on our YouTube channel, there is also a link above the fold as well. Please click that. Head on over to bit.ly/R4I Code Warriors, and you can check out the Kickstarter. There's lots of goodies for you if you back. And of course, congratulations, Craig, on getting that all. I'm glad that you were able to get the Kickstarter to where you needed to back it and get it pledged. So I'm excited to see this come to fruition, as with many other games, and hopefully there's many more to come. We are going to record an after show after this, but before we do, we're going to go around and let everyone know where you can find these lovely people, because they are all very talented and do lots of things. And of course, we'll kick it off with our DM, aka Game Master Craig. Tell us where people can find you at. What else maybe you have up in the air going on? We all want to know, maybe some hints.
Sure. I'm at Nerdburger Craig on Twitter. The website is nerdburgergames.com. All my games are at DriveThruRPG. However, if you are interested in picking up the PDF of any of them, check the Kickstarter first, because every single game PDF is an add-on on the Kickstarter, and they are cheaper there than they are at DriveThru right now by a couple bucks, to encourage people to throw a few extra bucks and get some other games. This game will, however it ends up, the PDF will go out within a few weeks of the campaign ending, and then the books will follow. There will also be dice. I don't have the dice printed, but you can see what they look like on the Kickstarter page. There's also, they
They're
come in a
cool.
little tin.
Oh, nice.
You'll get them in a neat little tin. So those are fun for people who love their shiny math rocks, custom D8s. And I will say this: there's an Easter egg in the dice themselves. We have hidden Easter eggs in this game because it's a game about computers. There are things like that. As far as things that are upcoming, I'll be at PAX Unplugged out in Philadelphia in December with, for the first time, Nerdburger Games will have its own table, own booth. Not its own table, but its own booth at one of the big 3 conventions. I'm really stoked about that. I've got a team of 3 people coming with me.
Awesome.
We're going to do that. And then sometime next year, owing to the Annie Award nominations for Good Strong Hands, I finally just said, screw it, and I pulled the trigger, and I'm working on it right now. A supplement for Good Strong Hands called What is Light Without Dark, which is, if you know Good Strong Hands, it's inspired by 80s sci-fi movies like The Never-Ending Story and Legend. What is Light Without Dark is a quote from Darkness in Legend, Tim Curry's character. So it's going to be filled with all sorts of kind of darker stuff for the fantastical world of
That's
Good Strong Hands.
exciting.
And the artwork is underway. If you hit my Twitter, you'll see the artwork every so often. I'm sharing some of it.
Ooh, and we're gonna have to check that out here on Roll For It. We'll be messaging you. We'll chat. And of course, if you want to check out some of our other campaigns that we've done for Good Strong Hands, just search that in the search box on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/rollforit, and we have played some, and it is such a good game. You definitely want to check it out. And of course, we have with us. We'll go backwards this time. Little Red Dot, where can people find you out when you're not being very helpful?
Yeah. I am Little Red Dot. You can find me over at Kobold Press and with my podcast network, Pod by Night, most of the time. But there are a few other projects I'm working on right now. Most importantly, Kobold Press has teamed up with Realmsmith TV to put out kind of a dusty Deadlands post-apocalyptic 5e game using Kobold Press's new kind of apocalyptic world-building guide called Wastes of Chaos. So that's happening on Wednesday nights. It's pretty cool. I'm playing a Dust Goblin. He's out there being his best Dust Goblin self. I guess as best as you can in the wasteland. So but it's great. I'm quite enjoying that. And then I will also be at PAX. So keep your ears to the ground. And if you like and want to game with me in person, I help plan and run a tabletop cruise, and we are booking right now for April 2023. So you can come E3 at sea, come cruise with me to the Bahamas, and we'll roll dice. It'll be a lot of fun.
That was a little poetry right there. Thank you, Dot. Yeah. And of course, we have Academic Foxhole playing Fortran. When you're not bussing people around on your faux taxi, what are you up to?
Oh, gosh, golly gee whiz, that's a question. I stream all over the place. You can find me tonight at 8 p.m. where I'm playing in a Witcher campaign over at Praxagor the Smophoria. Monday at 8:30, I'm in a Vampire the Masquerade game over at Wandering DM. But on Fridays on my channel, Trooper SJP, at 7 p.m. Eastern, there's always some sort of RP running on a Friday. And this current Friday, we're playing The Zone, which is a brand new sort of surreal body horror RPG that's currently kickstarting. And it's GM-less, and everybody plays to die because only one person makes it out alive as they delve into their mind. I also want to know, one of the other things I'm going to be doing probably in the next, right after the after show, is going to the Kickstarter campaign for this, and I'm going to be backing, and I'm going to get one of these add-ons. They've got an add-on here called What Once Went Wrong. I already have all the capers, and Good Strong Hands, but this one is a 2-player, 1 GM, 1 player. You play a time traveler leaping into other people's lives, help them fix something that went wrong. like Quantum Leap, and that sounds very exciting. I'm gonna have to get that one. And also this Vibrant Isle is a solo RPG about exploring a fantastical island. I'm gonna have to get that one too. So I'm gonna
That's
be
one of my favorite RPGs, Trooper. That one's amazing.
yeah. So I'm gonna be getting a whole bunch of PDF add-ons of Nerdberg Craig games that I do not have yet, because I've got I've got a couple. But I don't have all of them, and I might just accidentally fall onto my keyboard after.
You don't have Die Laughing. You should do that one too.
Oh,
And we
I
did
have
we
that
did a
one.
Stage Heroism game as well. Also,
Yes.
great.
Yeah, I don't own that Stage Heroes, but I played in it and it was very good. So I'm just saying that I might be accidentally falling onto my keyboard and backing this so I can get more Nerdberg or Craig games, because they're cheaper than anywhere else at the moment. That's me.
All right. And last but not least, we have Firewall Play by Play Katie Play. Where can people find you at when you are, making it count when it matters?
I didn't roll well today, but I rolled where it did count, and that's what matters. So, I'm Katie Peters Plays. You can find me on Twitch at Katie Peters Plays, Twitter at Play Katie Play. I'm here on Saturdays for more tabletop in Grimrose Academy, so come watch me there. And I cast some spells. It's a lot of fun. Maggie's GMing that. We're doing a Halloween all month on my channel on Twitch. Lots of scary games, lots of spooky stuff. I have 2 podcasts. I have Quantum Drive, which is all about the Orville. And I have Katie Hasn't Seen That, which about movies I should have seen by now, which I haven't. I also really love this game. This was a lot of fun, and I'm a big fan of Nerdburger Craig's games. I was in a good Strong Hands campaign, little mini campaign that I absolutely loved. And then I also have Low Stakes and Felt and Feelings, and those are actually on my bookshelf back here. And I don't have a lot of RPG books back here, so you've made the shelf. But yeah, go check out this. Go support Craig.
All right.
And
of
Maggie,
course,
what about you?
I'm Margaret
Yeah.
Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. I do lots of things on the internet. And if you want to find them, go to at Margaret Crone in all the places. And of course, I make games and video games for a living. I'm currently working on a project called Ashes of Creation, which you can find at Ashes of Creation in all of the places. And with that, we are going to record an after show. It's actually going to be live. So if you're watching live, just hang with us for a moment. We're going to take a little break so people can drink some water, grab some coffee, use the restroom, and then we'll be back to do our little after show. And then we will wrap things up. So thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. And we hope that you enjoyed the lovely story that we told today. And of course, thank you again, Craig, for being awesome. And if you haven't checked out Code Warriors, please do so. There's lots of amazing stuff over on the Kickstarter, and we hope that you will continue to enjoy all the stories that we tell. May the dice roll ever in your favor.